Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Happy Cryptic Mondays. Possibly. I'm not sure if I can even talk about it yet. We'll wait till Brent Martineau walks in the building, and we'll see where he's at with the whole thing. I don't know if we can really get into it or not, but time will tell. It's Brent's call. I don't run the ship. I just steer it sometimes. Lots of talk about, though, over the weekend. We got the Daytona 500, obviously. We had some interesting stuff happen in the UFC, but let's be honest, the biggest story, in my opinion, once again, revolving the Jaguars, once again, revolving one of the latest press releases maybe in franchise history. Let's be honest, it has to be the latest press release in franchise history, and then maybe the biggest error out of that press release in franchise history. I'll tell you what, man, the Jaguars cannot stay out of the national spotlight for better or worse, but they seem to like us right now, Brent. They seem to like us.
That's a heck of a news drop.
Yeah.
That's like straight out. I always say it's like straight out of the Yankees page playbook. I don't know where the news drop Friday thing started, but it's like a thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, everybody's in for the weekend. It's not going to go on like all the shows in the morning. And, even back in the day, the papers, okay, you're going to read it on Saturday. It's too late for the presses potentially,
Sure.
So I think it's an age-old thing, but I always grew up and knew about the Yankees. If they had something go wrong, they'd kind of usually try to trump it as with something good, and try to get it out of the cycle. And they were very smart like that. The Jags, we thought maybe could do that a little bit with the Trevor Lawrence Pro Day. Just kind of got lucky in terms of the timing of everybody talking about Trevor Lawrence, but it wasn't really going away. And then on top of that, they make the move, and they're super late. Like, seriously, I've never seen that late either.
I was sleeping, man. I found out like the next morning I woke up to that one.
My phone started to go. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's exactly kind of maybe some of the intention of it. But
obviously.
What's that mean? Now what, right? I mean, is that over? I mean, is that a still ongoing topic? What kind of red flags does it bring up? And I think it's I think it's over in terms of, okay, well, the players and everybody else, after whenever this does stop, the conversation, they don't have to really acknowledge, deal with, if you will, in quotes, that distraction or those questions or whatever would happen. But I do think it brings up a different set of questions in terms of where are the checks and balances in the organization, and we won't really know who made this decision. Was this Urban's decision? Was this Shad Khan's decision? Was this really a full-blown resignation by Chris Doe to say, hey, I don't want to be this big of a distraction? I mean, it can go down like that, but we just don't know. I don't think we will know. But it does bring up some interesting questions. Meanwhile, the entire staff is done, and now that the focus is not completely on Chris Doyle, it does kind of bring up, okay, how did they do with the staff? We talked about Schneider as a special teams coach. We talked about even Charlie Strong and obviously defensive coordinator Joe Cullen, and we'll continue to talk about those guys, Bevel and Schottenheimer, that relationship. But as you look at it in total, take Doyle out of the mix, because we couldn't have asked this question on Thursday, Friday without being super critical of it. But now that you look at it in terms of how it could benefit players moving forward, how good of a staff will it be, did they do a pretty good job? And that was interesting because some of the narrative around the country when we were listening to some of these shows on our way home Thursday and Friday were, hey, the staff overall looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But then why did they bring Chris Doyle into it? That was a little bit of the mantra. Now, I don't know if everybody agrees with that. I'm just saying I heard that a few different times. So kind of a grade on what the Jaguars staff now looks like. Long day at Daytona yesterday.
I bet it was.
We knew it would be. We kind of anticipated it would be. And Coos comes up with a great idea today. The last lap at Daytona is really pretty awesome. The last couple laps. Like the end of the race is usually tremendous for the Daytona 500 or any race really at Daytona. Talladega is a lot like that, the super speedway tracks. But what endings in sports do we really like get excited for? What if you could sign up for one ending of sports? What would you see? Is it the 2-minute drill of an NFL or collegiate game? Is it the last shot in a hoop game? Heck, I think you could put the Kentucky Derby. They say the greatest or the fastest 2 minutes in sports is the Kentucky Derby. So where do you fall? And I'll tell you what, for even casual fans of NASCAR, Daytona is right there because you know it's coming. Like, you know it's coming. You just don't know what's going to happen exactly. You don't know if it's going to come from the front car, the middle of the pack, and you just have no idea. And what last night is you have no idea. We anticipated it for like 2 laps. Okay, someone going to make a move here? Or are you just going to let Joey Logano win? And then all of a sudden, the move is made, kind of, and the nudge, and there go the fireworks and the flames and everything else. And Michael McDowell's never won a race. Comes on and wins the Daytona 500, which also is a pretty cool story. Probably not the star power type of story NASCAR would actually sign up for, whether it would be a Bubba Wallace or even a Logano or a Kyle Busch or any of those guys. But still pretty neat story that Michael McDowell wins. So we'll go over some of the finishes in sports and which ones we like. You know, we're about a month away from March Madness, too. Get your brackets ready. I think of all the sports that have been... This might be our own calendar, okay? I think of all the sports that have played through the pandemic, I think college basketball is the most difficult to follow. And the reason being, there's a lot of cancellations, postponements, switching of schedules. Like, if you look at just locally, UNF and JU, I announce the play-by-play. I do the play-by-play for UNF.
Yeah.
And was supposed to be home last weekend. Instead, like on Wednesday, it was like, nope, they're going up to Liberty. That was already after they had already driven up to Liberty and come back because of positive tests. And now this week, they just found out, like today, I think it's Bellarmine that's going to be home this weekend. There's so many different schedule changes, and credit to them, they're trying to keep playing. You know, they're trying to find ways. But I just think from our point of view, it's very hard to follow, like, what's going on in college basketball? How many games has this team played? How many games has that team played? And again, I do say this from the point of view where, listen, we're a little bit caught up in football season through the Super Bowl, Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, heck, even Daytona for me. So maybe that's just me talking. And I want to know if kind of March Madness is shaping up like we have no idea about any of these teams. Like, this might be the most wide open or at least hardest to bet on or pick your bracket March Madness we've ever had.
If you had to guess, let's just say men's college basketball, how many games do you think have been postponed or canceled? At least ESPN's graphic says this season.
Oof. Postponed or canceled?
It says postponed or canceled. So, and this is ESPN. I haven't fact-checked this, so let's...
I believe
And this is from today, Coos?
This graphic they sent this morning, yes.
Okay, well, keep in mind now, there's like 52 teams or something like that in college basketball, 300 and something like that. I would say, Coos, I got to believe at least each school has had, on average, 3 to 5 of those. I'm going to fall right in the middle. I'm going to say 1,350 games.
Oh, I'm going to say like 700.
Brent is close. It says 1,608.
Wow.
Yeah, so I should have done 5 times instead of 4.
Damn.
But that doesn't surprise me. I think I heard somewhere along the way that I think it was Iona.
Yeah.
That they lost like 49 straight days of their season from practices or games or postponements because of COVID.
This is apparently only Division I. Did I say that? Did I at least put that part in there?
You didn't, but I assumed it.
Okay.
I assume that's what you were talking about. And so, I mean, just think that's a massive amount of schools. And even, that really only takes 3 or 4 days. I know UNF has been postponed, canceled, whatever, way more than 4 dates already. So
they're still doing all the conference championships, right?
That's the plan.
So,
I mean, those automatic qualifiers.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, there probably hasn't been as much stake as in a conference championship than this year. I mean, that's going to be everything. I'm talking about the conference tournament. Obviously, you win that, you're in, but it might not have meant so much more now with everything. With some teams only got 10 games in, some teams got less, some teams got more. So it's hard to really get a vibe right now of who's going to go and who's not. I was watching last night. They're saying Maryland, who I think is like 5-10 or something like that this year, they're actually slated to go to the tournament still. Really? They're like 5-10.
Yeah.
But just the way everything's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they say that's it's going to be an interesting. I think just from our point of view, like, how do you handicap it? Like, who's good? I have no idea. I mean, I look at some of the records to your point. I know like the SEC records. I'm like, okay, does that mean there are good teams or not so good teams? Is it Kentucky's not good.
Yeah.
So if Kentucky's not good, does that make the SEC just okay? I think it's really hard to tell. And so I think it's going to be kind of fun, really, when it comes to March Madness.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can do a blind draw and probably be just as successful in this year's March Madness. You probably do that quite a bit, actually. But
usually
you can really do that this year.
It kind of seems like the more time you spend on your bracket, the worse it's going to turn out. So, yeah, nothing's changed here.
I don't know if that means we're going to get 16s beating 1s. I still think the disparity there is pretty large. But
but
I do
talk to
wonder,
Virginia about that, Brent.
Well, I understand. I mean, it's having once. I mean, 15 and 2s can beat that too. But once you get into 3-14, 4-13, 5-12 is always a popular one. 6, we could really have a lot of double-digit seeds in the tournament do well because we just don't know what they are. And keep in mind, they might not know who they are because they haven't had their full complement of players for a good stretch of games. So it's really going to be a fascinating March Madness, and we'll take a quick kind of an early look ahead at that. Hey, Trevor Lawrence reportedly, I think the surgery is going to be tomorrow on his non-throwing shoulder.
Do we know, is he going to Dr. Andrews?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Or maybe let's just say this. I didn't see it was Dr. Andrews, so it's either not Dr. Andrews or it just hasn't been out there.
I got you.
Or it just hasn't been out there. So I would have noted in my mind if it was Dr. Andrews for sure because we've been talking about that.
Without a doubt.
And I have not seen that yet. Curiosity, though, the count now is 17 teams at his pro day on Friday. Obviously, Urban Meyer and the Jags front and center. Why did so many teams go? I was watching Get Up this morning. The Patriots were there.
Yeah.
Right? So why did so many teams go watch Trevor Lawrence if we know he's a surefire number one guy?
Of course.
And even if you thought the unknown, crazy, whatever would happen, he'd be a surefire number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Right? So why I understand there could be potential trade partners and stuff like that, but why would so many teams go to Clemson early to watch Trevor Lawrence throw?
See, to me, it's very simple. Because everyone is hyping this guy up to be the best pick since Andrew Luck, like the most sure thing since Andrew Luck. And when you put that guy in that kind of stratosphere, teams want to see that in person. Teams want to see that work out in person because then you know why? They're going to take notes of what they saw. And then when they're evaluating talent further down the line the next couple years and trying to find their own quarterback, they have a baseline of which to go off of. So it wasn't so much of the fact of let's go watch Trevor Lawrence if we're the Patriots, some team like that, to see, well, maybe we can get him. No, they understand what's up right now. They saw Urban Meyer standing in the middle of the field. What they're doing right now is their due diligence. What they're doing is taking notes and saying, okay, here's how he looked. Here's what, some of his strengths were. Here's maybe he had a couple throws here or there. But this is what the best quarterback since Andrew Luck is going to look like, we think. And then you use that baseline for future draft picks.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go back now to ask that question. How many people went to Andrew Luck's pro day? But I get what you're saying. Now Trevor Lawrence becomes the measuring stick. This is what a generational quarterback looks like, right? That's essentially what you're saying. Is any of it a little pre-scouting? You can't scout at a pro day, right? I mean, the thing about it to me was they couldn't even talk to him. So I could see why more teams would come down if you talk to him or whatever and be like, you already seen the tape. You see him in person. You talk to him. He blows you away. Those kind of things with interviews. And then some team says, listen, I'm going to Herschel Walker this draft and at least ask the Jags if they're interested.
Sure.
So I could see some of that because maybe he's that good, right?
Yeah.
Everybody looking for that Patrick Mahomes guy. But you couldn't even do that. So
But listen,
it's just curious to me that many teams went.
You can tell a lot more in person than you can on film. There's a reason why in a non-pandemic world, colleges go to high schools to watch these players in person. There's a reason why NFL scouts will come to your practice and watch you practice because they have to see it for themselves. They have to see it in person. Yes, film can tell you pretty much everything. It can probably tell you 80% of what you want to know about a player based off his skill set and how he plays the game. But the other 20%, you got to see it for yourself. You got to see in person. And that's why I feel like so many people were there at Trevor Lawrence's pro day. And it's like, Dabo Swinney actually said this as well, which I thought was genius. He's like, listen, if you had the chance to watch Steph Curry shoot three-pointers, you're going to go watch him. Just like people want a chance to see Trevor Lawrence with a football and a workout.
Yeah.
So they're going to watch him.
Yeah, it's really well said. I never thought of this before until this kind of conversation came about on Friday. They want to know what the ball sounds like when it leaves his hands. I never really thought about that.
Well, now that's aggressive. I guess.
I mean, but then we asked Bevel, right? Bevel actually kind of looks like, I think he was the one that maybe even said the word sound. And that was just interesting to me. It's kind of like if you can watch Carlos Stanton hit batting practice on TV, and it's impressive. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you can go watch him behind the cage, and it's like, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You can hear the power.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
So
for
I kind of get that. Like, I just have never heard it in that sense of but like you said, it might just be like, man, I want to really, this is the measuring stick. This guy's that good. And I just think when we have these discussions, folks, here in Jacksonville, again, I mean, the Jags are getting that guy. And this is a lot to live up to for Trevor Lawrence. We said this when he went to his hometown and other places. He has lived up to the expectations. Remember, people talked about him like this in middle school. He goes to high school, bam, delivers. People talked about this coming out of high school. He goes to Clemson, bam, delivers. So there's no reason to get nervous that the hype is too much and they're over-dramatizing it. In fact, I've tried to tell you the just opposite. This is not an over-dramatization of what the Jags are getting. I think we have to come to the realization that this guy is this big of a prospect that people do want to just go see what a measuring stick of a quarterback might look like now in the NFL in this next generation.
No, of course, because listen, I mean, you get to judge from the past a little bit. If you want to build your franchise, you can learn from the past. And Trevor Lawrence, 5 to 10 years from now, we hope he's the barometer. We hope he's the measuring stick. We hope he's the floor. Like, listen, if you want a great quarterback, this is what it looks like. That's what everyone expects him to be. Now he's just got to be that guy.
You know what's interesting to me, man? I've seen a couple of podcasts, I think it was. Sean Payton has raved about how good of a player coming out of school Mahomes was. And they thought about moving up. They even, I think I heard the podcast where they even thought about telling Drew Brees, or they did tell Drew Brees, hey, if he's still here, we're going to take this guy. And so now, again, a little bit to that, hey, I just want to tell you, I know what a good look quarterback is.
Sure.
But if they really thought he was that good, wouldn't you have traded up for almost anything?
Without a doubt.
So I don't know what I believe. I'm just saying, how did so many teams, including the Jaguars, not look at Mahomes in this kind of process? And by the way, the process was more intensive at the time because we didn't have a pandemic. How did they not see some of this? Like, what? I just don't understand, because it feels like he's that, or Andrew Luck. Like, nobody missed Andrew Luck. Stanford wasn't winning national titles. People all said the same thing about Andrew Luck.
But they had some pretty good seasons.
They did have good years, but
yeah.
still, it wasn't like he was like, oh, wow. Like, and he didn't win the Heisman, right? No, he didn't win the Heisman. So, why did they know that guy was can't miss? But how did Patrick Mahomes slip by so many teams to have Kansas City trade up to get him, and he wasn't can't miss? Like, what's hiding on Patrick Mahomes? I just wonder how people missed on that one, yet everybody knows Andrew Luck and everybody knows Trevor Lawrence is this guy.
I mean, to me, it's just the fact that he played at Texas Tech and never really had a lot of success.
Yeah.
I mean, at least with Andrew Luck, I felt like did he go to a couple Rose Bowls?
He probably did. They had a really good stretch there, right? And David Shaw is well respected.
Yeah.
And so they had good. I don't even remember the time. I mean, heck, it's almost 10 years ago, right? That's 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's just curious to me that Mahomes, as you look at him now, and the way Sean Payton talked about him, the way Kansas City felt about him, why didn't everybody feel about him like that? Like, why didn't people all say, including, again, I mean, Jags deserve plenty of criticism here.
Yeah.
They had Tom Coughlin, who had seen Eli Manning and plenty of quarterbacks over the years. Dave Caldwell, the scouting staff, they did not have one of those quarterbacks. They might have had a quarterback coming off a good year, but no, at that time, they didn't even have a quarterback coming off a good year. That was 2016.
Correct,
So
yeah.
Why did all these people miss, yet we know this guy, everybody says, is so good?
I'd like to look at Patrick Mahomes' draft profile and really see what they said about it. Maybe I'll check that out during the break here. We'll bring it up next segment of what like the experts were saying about Patrick Mahomes, the pros and the cons of everything.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. By the way, I mean, have you on this Valentine's Day weekend fallen in love with Trevor Lawrence in a different way after his Casey Musgraves? I'm wearing
affection. I'm wearing the shirt, and guess what, man? A lot of Casey Musgraves fans out there. Oh yeah, a lot of interactions. I appreciate them. Thank you.
That was a big moment, huh?
For what? For me? I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, it was huge. The two songs that he mentioned, I'm not the biggest fans of, so I took it personally. But it's still Casey Musgraves. You can't go wrong with Casey Musgraves.
Can you imagine if he had said like Garth Brooks and what that would have done
To you?
to the restraining order that you already want to put in place?
See, like at least with me, I can remain calm about it. I'm wearing a T-shirt, but I can stay calm.
I'm not sure.
With
You didn't sound too calm over the weekend.
With you, I didn't sound too calm about it. I mean, come on, bro. You know, I'm just having some fun.
All right, we come back. We will get in more of the Chris Doyle and what went wrong with the Jaguars, what it means going forward. A little bit later on, we will take a closer look at Trevor Lawrence, maybe in comparison to Patrick Mahomes, too. That is on the way here on a Monday. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy today with scattered afternoon showers and storms where there can be a few strong storms along our next cold front producing gusty winds, small hail, and even an isolated tornado threat. But we will top out today in the mid-70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
Cease and desist.
You gotta love lawyer talk, don't you? I got a letter from the competitor's lawyer accusing us of stealing all their best people. They demanded that we cease and desist. The ugly truth is that the other company was actively driving away their best people. Management didn't treat them right, so they voted with their feet. And most of those plumbers and techs initially hired on somewhere else other than Griffin Service. Except those somewhere else companies weren't any better in terms of how they mistreated their people. So a few of those guys came to work for me at Griffin Service, where I absolutely gave them the respect and appreciation they deserved. Then word got around.
If you want the best job you'll ever have, come work for Tom at Griffin Service.
That's good news for amazing AC techs and plumbers, and bad news for my competitors and their lawyers. Because I'm not going to stop revolutionizing the AC and plumbing industries here in Jacksonville, and I'll never cease and desist from treating my people and my customers the way they deserve.
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Transmission problems? Call Action Transmission Specialists on Merrill Road, where you get the work done right the first time by the experts. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. Our techs can service all makes and models, and we provide a nationwide warranty, so you have the peace of mind knowing we solve your transmission troubles fairly and honestly and guaranteed nationwide. Call us at Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road, where quality counts. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
As a parent or grandparent, deep down, do you worry that your child may not be able to defend him or herself if bullied? That they may be introverted, too attached to electronic devices, and their grades are suffering? Karate America teaches 7 steps designed to ensure a lifetime of success for your child or grandchild in a safe, sanitized environment with all necessary precautions taken to prevent COVID. Please visit karateamerica.info to fill out a survey and learn if they can help your child.
An essential part of starting and running a business is managing cash flow. This involves not just generating sales revenue, but also securing financing, handling expenses, and ensuring there is working capital in order to reinvest. At SCORE, we offer advice and can direct you to resources to help address these issues. Since 1964, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide free one-on-one mentoring, a library of online information, and a series of timely webinars. Go to jacksonville.score.org to see how we can assist you today.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Austin Lane.
The beer that made Milwaukee famous. Giannis Antetokounmpo, big sign, the deer that made Milwaukee famous.
Brent Martineau.
I can buy that.
Yeah, okay. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I can definitely buy that.
Hashtag and trademark. So if somebody try to steal it, I'm suing you.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I was listening to some Casey Musgraves at first, but I don't even remember what came on at the end, so I like Casey Musgraves.
Heard that.
Why, I listen to a lot of country music.
Sure you do.
I like Casey Musgraves. But I don't understand, why
she's awesome.
Does she transcend country?
Yes.
I'm saying, not just for you. You, obviously. You don't listen to a lot of country,
she
right?
She really transcends everything, Brent. No, yeah, she transcends country.
Is she in the pop world? Is a lot of her songs pop?
Yes.
Are they really?
Well, it's like country pop, what isn't country pop these days, it seems
true.
like. But, no, see, Casey Musgraves is the unique talent that she can headline a CMA music festival, and then she could headline Coachella. Her audience is very broad. And, I had this conversation with Martin Buckley, who's a big Casey Musgraves guy as well. We had this conversation, man, this is probably a year ago now, almost 2 years ago, and we talked about it a little bit. And, the metamorphosis of Casey Musgraves, and don't tag her in this stuff because we don't need to be that weird radio station that keeps on tagging her and stuff. So let's go ahead.
I'm just saying, when are we going to get her on the show?
Nope. See, let's go ahead and delete that right now.
You're afraid of what she might say?
Oh man, because I don't like to play the soccer
You're
card like you do.
wearing her shirt,
and that's fine. That's fine. Everyone wears her shirt. We don't got to be tagging her in the show. Can you please come on? No, I don't want to be that guy.
I'm not saying that. I said, when are we going to get her on the show?
That's basically saying, can you please come on the show? So gonna need you to delete that tweet, and then I'll explain to you why she has so many fans.
Okay, go ahead.
You're not going to delete it. That's fine.
I'm
Whatever,
not tagging her.
Whatever, man. All right. So, anyways, the reason why she has so many fans.
We're talking about Casey Musgraves right now. I am teasing that.
Okay. Tease it, but don't tag her. All right? Just a tease, but no tag.
No tag.
All right. But no, with Casey Musgraves, it's simple.
Soft.
How am I? Listen, and when that restraining order comes down from Trevor's family, then we'll talk about who's soft. In the meantime, Casey Musgraves is super popular because of her first album, where she kind of spoke out about things that aren't usually talked about on country records. For instance, smoking weed. You don't hear a lot of female country artists doing that,
That's
right?
true.
Talking about...
They might be doing that. They don't sing about it.
Yeah, they don't sing about it. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, obviously, she's very prevalent in the gay community as well. Her song, probably her most famous song, Follow Your Arrow, is about, girls kissing girls. That's okay. You don't hear about that too much in country music, especially back then. That was back in 2015, 16. So she kind of started out as this rebel who appealed to a bunch of communities that weren't really represented, let's just say, in country music.
Yeah.
And then from there, she got more poppy, and then, kind of like the pop music crowd came along. So she really has a conglomerate of a lot of different genres of people that they're into, and she's kind of taking over the world, Brent.
So are you going to be mad if I try to get Casey Musgraves on the show?
It's not going to happen, though. She doesn't have time for us.
You just challenge me?
She doesn't have time for us. This is back when I tried to get Jeff Bezos. I forgot when we had a conversation with Jeff Bezos. We had to get him on the show. Yeah. I forgot what the excuse was.
Yeah, but how?
I sent him an email, and he never got back to me.
You did send him an email?
Yeah.
You sent him one email.
It said on Amazon, if you email Jeff Bezos, sometimes it gets back to you. That's like what this article said in the New York Times.
This was the other time.
I guess I didn't.
That's like sending your autograph. I want an autograph of your favorite player. Send the card. Might not get it back.
Hey, I sent mine to the Seattle Mariners one time, and they said, can you send it to a different address? Yeah, because I was trying to get Ken Griffey's autograph. I did that before. Yeah.
And you sent it to a different address?
Yeah. No, so it was Jay Buhner and Ken Griffey Jr. I had a Ken Griffey Jr. card and a Jay Buhner card. I sent it to Seattle. 7 months later,
I bet.
I get that, but I was so pumped up, and I actually took that envelope to show and tell to show my class. I was so excited because the Seattle Mariners sent me some mail. But no, they said I had to send it to a different address, and I'm like, nah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. But I still got the letter.
Like back in the day, or maybe even still now, they almost need to employ somebody just to take care of that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
By the way, if somebody's going to employ somebody in Jags headquarters, just take it. Urban Meyer would be the guy. He's employing somebody just to do everything in that building with that staff. All right. So anyway, someday we're going to get Casey Musgraves on Sunday. I'm going to find a way. I wish I had more ties to country music. I really don't. Like, I haven't worked in the radio industry.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a lot of like. I figured along the way over years, and I really do like country music, that I would meet more people associated with country music. So I can be like, hey, any chance? Like, do you even have somebody that I could bug?
Yeah.
That might give me the next restraining order.
Yeah.
No. I really don't have a lot of those contacts. It's weird.
What we need to do is I have to make it to the UFC, and then after my fight, I have to call out Casey Musgraves and bring her on the show. Because you see what that one guy did with Miley Cyrus?
I didn't see
I don't even know the dude's name.
So
Dude won a UFC fight, said he wants Miley Cyrus to be his Valentine. Miley Cyrus tweeted at him and said, I'm all yours if you shave my initials into your chest hair. And
That's all it took?
That's all it took. Now, listen, any suitable guy would have been like, okay, I can do that. Like, I'll take one for the team. It's Miley Cyrus tweeting at you, man. She's got like 30 million followers. Welcome to the club. No. What does this dude do? This guy goes, how about you get a henna tattoo of my initials above your belly button, and then maybe we'll see. And then she hasn't responded since.
You can't negotiate, dude.
Who negotiates?
She responded.
Who negotiates with Miley Cyrus in anything? Honestly,
that was a bad move.
Horrible move. I gotta find that dude's name.
All right. Hey, we asked scouting reports on Patrick Mahomes.
I have one right here. Do you got one too?
Yeah. Ready for this one?
What do you got?
Sports Illustrated, Chris Burke.
Gotcha. Let's get it.
Giving Mahomes closest NFL comp to Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford. Burke largely had high praise for the youngster. One primary point of criticism, Mahomes' mechanics can be scattershot, which is why he will thread a need to one play, then fire an easy pass into the third row the next. Haven't seen many of those third row plays.
No.
Needless to say, accuracy has not been an issue for him in the NFL. Completed 66% of his passes. He's 200 pass attempts shy. I'm assuming he's talking about Stafford. Walter Football, Charlie Campbell. While this site had a lot of good things to say about Mahomes, they hedged their bets on his future stardom because of the decidedly non-NFL offense run at Texas Tech, which was out of the shotgun, terming him a second-round pick. They believe Mahomes is going to need to learn how to work under center, call plays in huddle, develop his footwork to make drops from being under center. That scared him away. That was a common thing if you go back to Tebow in the 2010 draft, even Gabbert in 2011. There was a lot of talk in the early part of the decade about guys not being able to adjust to taking snaps under center. Well, very interestingly enough, that conversation has died down, and also most players now are taking snaps from the shotgun anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you have?
All right, so I got ProFootballFocus.com. We'll see how reliable they truly are here, Brent. All right, what does he do best? Smooth whip release with power and touch. Arm is special, may define the term arm talent. Not too bad. Can make any throw with accuracy, power, and level of the area of the field from every type of platform and arm angle. Not bad so far. Athletic in pocket with the ability to make rushers miss or shed with strength. Anticipates well. Time for locating receiver to ball out of his hands is extremely quick. And he's a gritty playmaker, wants the ball in his hands, and delivers when his team needs it the most. Biggest concerns now. Plays undisciplined too often. Inconsistent footwork, loses his base, but tends to make up for it with his arm. Tendency to drift in the pocket in all directions when it's not necessary. You see that still.
You still do.
Drifts, but it's not like it matters. Bad habit of breaking form from clean pockets too early when the pass rush dictates him to stay in there. Forces too many throws and tries for the hero play too often. Steep learning curve coming from the Texas Tech spread wide open system.
Interesting. Now Mel Kiper, one last one. When it comes to NFL prospects, it's wise to listen to what Kiper has to say. Maybe not.
Didn't know who I was.
I'm not sure you agree.
It's all right, though.
He has covered the draft for decades with a laser focus. However, he even was cautious about Mahomes. Kansas City rebuilding. He was not keen on what the team had to give up on a raw player like the quarterback. He wrote, quote, Mahomes has a high ceiling, but he's going to have to learn how NFL offenses are run, and the Chiefs are going to have to rebuild his mechanics from the ground up. Andy Reid, John Dorsey know what they're getting and know what they're doing and see some Brett Favre in Mahomes. They have a capable quarterback in Alex Smith, signed until 2019. This is a pick and grade that could look like great or silly in 5 or 6 years. So,
but be on the fence a little more.
Yeah, he was a little bit on the fence.
Come on. Soft, Brent, when you call that soft?
Yeah, but they threw around Stafford. They threw around Favre. What's interesting, here's what's interesting, and what we probably don't know enough of about Mahomes, is he sat behind Alex Smith for a year. And so in that time, did they clean up some of his mechanics, right? Did they do some of these things, and he was a quick study? Or did they really need to do as much work as some of these folks might have said? And I don't know. I really believe probably the thing that scared people away was Texas Tech, to your point earlier. Yeah. And maybe the whole Mahomes indictment thing should really be more on Kingsbury. Right? Yeah. Kingsbury was there during that time.
For sure.
How didn't he win with this guy? Right?
It's a great point,
I mean,
man.
if I'm in Arizona, I'm wondering, how did I, so he's had Mahomes and now Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
If that guy doesn't win, I think it's on him.
Yeah. Well, and do you think, too, Scouts, because what year was that? That was 2018 or 19?
Well, he would have been in 2017 draft. So,
yeah, 2017. Yeah. Do you think analysts, I mean, it's crazy to say, but like you get the sense, all right, coming from that spread offense. Well, the NFL is a lot of spread offense now. Like, do you think they kind of undervalue just where the game was going in terms of those spread offenses in the NFL?
I think you're right, and I think that's a big part of this now. We've talked about it in the past. If we talk about fixing the Jaguars in terms of being bold and being ahead of the curve, what are you going to do? Well, I think it's fair to say since 2016 and even 17, the game in the NFL has changed quite a bit. I mean, we're not talking about something that's gradually changed since like 2010, 12, 13. No, we're something that's changed like almost overnight. The willingness to allow the shotgun game, the zone read stuff in there. Lamar Jackson helped change it. Other quarterbacks are helping change it. The adaptability to the college game is now not such a faux pas, right? The egos aren't talking. They've allowed themselves to do that over the last couple of years because they've seen the success, maybe of a guy like Mahomes, but definitely of Lamar Jackson, that they're more open-minded to it. So I do think maybe it was the Chiefs not worrying about that because they saw where the offense was going. Maybe they got a little lucky at the same time because of that. I don't know. But you have to be ahead of the curve. And what Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson, they got ahead of the curve, right? Teams that have had instant success like that and turn it around have been, in my opinion, ahead of the curve and bold in doing so. And I think both these teams were bold. They already had Alex Smith. Patrick Mahomes, they jumped up and traded and said, that's our guy. That's a bold move. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, it wasn't bold to pick Lamar Jackson because it was the end of the first round. It was like, okay, that's a good time to take a risk. But what they did to revamp their entire offense around him was a bold move, in my opinion.
Listen, I mean, the whole thing of the quarterback under center these days is pretty rare in college football. I mean, you can find a couple Big Ten teams out there that still want to run the football and pound the rock out of I formation. But for the most part, man, it's rare. Are we to the point now, though, Brent, in the landscape of the NFL where you would rather draft a guy who spends predominantly his time in that spread formation, out of that shotgun, as opposed to a quarterback who's under center, in a maybe like a more pro I formation? Like, to me, I'm taking the guy that's taking shotgun snaps because that's what you see now in the NFL. Like, no one's really under center that much anymore in the NFL.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the ins and outs of it enough to answer your question just with a blanket statement of it's here nor there. I just think the willingness and the lack of the willingness to, first of all, let the coaching ego go, that it has to be an under center, play action. You can still run the play action stuff a little bit from the shotgun. I mean, not like as we know it, but there's enough misdirection, movement, all this stuff now out of the shotgun that you can still create what you want to create. And I think teams are willing to do so. What's interesting in that, I had one person tell me, this could be interesting to watch with Trevor Lawrence, that he's just as comfortable in both. And that might be another reason why they like him. Now, I haven't seen that written up on him much, but we'll be comfortable under center, we'll be comfortable from the shotgun is something that I've heard about Trevor Lawrence. Now, we'll find out and what this offense looks like for Urban Meyer and Bevel and Schottenheimer. But, You don't read that very often, that guys are comfortable from both.
True. And it seems like even, to date back like 4 or 5 years ago where there was a big knock against you if you didn't take snaps under center.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, oh, we have to retool this guy. He doesn't take snaps under center. We got to work in the footwork a little more. Sure, it's still important, obviously, right? Because there are formations, there are play calls that dictate the quarterback under center, but we don't see such a scrutiny of it now where it's like, well, this quarterback's out of shotgun the whole time. Okay, that's fine. We'll get him, ready to go. Back in the day, it was like, out of shotgun the whole time? This guy's not going to make it, man.
And Austin, when you talk about back in the day, you're talking about the year you were drafted.
Exactly.
Because, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, the Tebow stuff about taking a snap under center was as legit a conversation as, it was almost felt foolish.
It was a story of the day.
It felt foolish. Like, what do you mean I can take a snap from center? Now, what they mean is, can you get to your drop? Can you get to the reads? All that stuff. I get it now, but it's felt so weird to say that. Hey, do you want to get Steven in before we go to the break? Let's grab Steven in, and he might help us tease this next segment, potentially. Let's get him before we go to break. Steven, what's up, man? Hope you had a good weekend.
Hey, hope you guys had a good weekend, too. Hey, I noticed 2 tweets over, I believe it was yesterday, and I want to get Austin's input on one since, experience. And the other one, I guess I could get both your guys' opinion. One was Solomon Thomas put a tweet out there trying to get the NFL committee to switch all fields back to natural grass. I guess there was a poll or numbers drawn up to where leg injuries have occurred more because of artificial turf use. And since 13 of our fields are artificial turf, he was trying to get them to switch back to just plain old grass. Austin, you played. Maybe you would have a good input on that.
Okay, what's your other one?
And my second one is Jaguars had a Zoom call with defensive tackle Emil McNeil from NC State. I wanted to get your opinion on him. I mean, this is a guy who took on a triple team, got his big bear paw up, smacked it, intercepted it for a touchdown, and then to throw on some joke for Austin, he did like a big jumbo Naruto run for a touchdown celebration.
I like that.
All right. Steven,
like
we'll answer those on the other side of the break.
Runs. I like that a lot. Okay. I'm intrigued.
Thanks for checking in. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Those answers, and I guess he didn't tease what I thought he was going to tease.
Same
so
here.
we'll talk about, sunshine and rainbows with a twist when we come back on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Last night at Daytona, Michael McDowell took the checkered flag at the 63rd running of the Daytona 500 after a massive crash that left several cars in flames and others on the track destroyed. Over the weekend, the Houston Texans released one of the faces of their franchise, J.J. Watt. Watt requested to be released, and now the speculation of where he will end up begins. Here's Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and when you speak to people around the league, Tampa Bay literally overnight has become this incredible destination. You have Tom Brady, a chance to win, Bruce Arians, who's going to take care of veterans like a J.J. Watt, no tax, practice on grass, play on grass. J.J. Watt's not nearly the same guy he once was, but 20-25 snaps a game, he may help you get back to the Super Bowl.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
It doesn't matter how old we are. We all need love and support. Yet, teenagers who end up in foster care have a much harder time finding it, as nearly 82% of current foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. The good news is, you can positively impact a teen's life by becoming a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You don't have to be married or own a home. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. So if you've ever felt a calling to help youth, please take this opportunity to explore becoming a foster parent to a teen through Family Support Services. Teenagers may no longer be little, but they still need lots of love. Take the next step by visiting foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Have you seen it? I'm talking about the all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota, where they're celebrating with savings all month long. What are you waiting for? Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 Corolla LE or a new 2021 Camry LE. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $249 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. Celebrate with savings and come see the new showroom at Arlington Toyota today. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/February for full details.
Transmission problems? Call Action Transmission Specialists on Merrill Road, where you get the work done right the first time by the experts. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. Our techs can service all makes and models, and we provide a nationwide warranty, so you have the peace of mind knowing we solve your transmission troubles fairly and honestly and guaranteed nationwide. Call us at Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road, where quality counts. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
Hi, I'm Henry Kane, a graduate and now an employee at the Sanctuary on 8th Street. I want to give a big thank you to the Players Championship for helping kids and young adults like me. I have always loved going to the Sanctuary. It's 22 days into the Players.
Spay or neuter your pet. Help them live a longer, happy life. First Coast No More Homeless Pets has free and low-cost programs available now. Make your appointment today. Call 425-0005, 425-0005, or fcnmhp.org.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, but your boss has you working from home this week, well, take us with you. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jax. Tell Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690, and enjoy all that sweet listening coverage.
You can look at Trevor Lawrence and say, okay, we saw you Ohio State in the college football playoff. There was, some fumbles, some ball security things, and he was really trying to extend the play. But, man, he was playing behind a really bad offensive line this year. And so it's like, you kind of understand that. You can explain it away. I think there were times in 2019 his ball placement was a little off. Like he was throwing a little bit high and outside on guys. Seems like he reined that in. Scouting report is, what are the pros of this player? What are the cons of this player? The cons for him, you've got to get real picky to find anything to really complain about.
It's kind of like my wife. I mean, you got to get real picky.
Got to get real
to get anything to complain about.
Real in depth, huh? Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, that's it. Steph and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
A lot in common.
Cool. Did you get Valentine's Day dinner? Did you find a spot?
I did. I made some homemade pizza.
That's right.
I didn't do anything for Valentine's Day except for that comment right there, which is probably better than anything I could have done.
We'll see when you get home how that comment's going to be received.
Aleem McNeil. Let's get these quick hitters from Steve.
Yeah.
Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle at North Carolina State. I got to be honest with you. I just looked him up and read a little bit about him in the break. I'll just give folks out there, he's nose tackle guy.
Correct.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
Big fella in the middle. And a lot of people consider potentially the second best guy in the draft behind Christian Barmore. That's a name you've probably heard more. He's an Alabama guy.
You've heard it.
And you've also seen a lot of projections to Jacksonville at number 25.
Which means he's not coming here.
Probably not.
That's the way it works.
But what's interesting is even if that guy's the best, maybe you get a high-quality player in round 2 somewhere. Remember, or maybe even a little bit later, but the Jags have 5 picks in the top 65 picks.
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye on. One other thing I read, and again, it just depends what you read here, said highest graded player from that position since 2014, except for one other player, and that's Jeffrey Simmons. So that's a nice comp.
It is.
So anyway, some nice things being said about Aleem McNeil. Honestly, I have no idea. But the Jaguars need a lot of help up front.
They absolutely do, especially in that interior. And when we're talking about, this 3-4 defense that's coming in, listen, there's a couple ways that you could go. And I've broken this down before a little bit. You can go with the traditional 3-4 defense, which means you're 2-gapping. So now that means that you have 3 defensive linemen up front that are essentially responsible for 2 gaps, right? So each side of them. Or you can go more like a 3-4 under defense where only one guy is going to be responsible for the gap. Now,
and you think the Jags showed some of those looks anyway over the last couple of years?
Yeah, over the past couple of years they did. Now, I think they're going to go with a more traditional 3-4 look, which means 2-gapping. Okay?
You think they should?
If you have the tools necessary for that, which I think they can get those tools. Like right now on the roster, do they have interior defensive linemen that can play 3-4 defense? Not field the team with it.
Yeah.
Obviously this is really draft. This is where free agency comes in. I think Aleem McNeil would be a great guy to have at your disposal. I think with Aleem McNeil, you definitely put him at the nose technique, right? I mean, this is a big space eater, and that's the thing. Like, I was looking at some draft comps and stuff like that. Well, he's not that good in the pass rush. I'll be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
You don't really need your nose technique in a 3-4 to be good at the pass rush. What you need your nose technique to do is to be fast-footed, strong hand balance, and being able to absorb a double team. Now, I said absorb a double team. Obviously, it'd be ideal to split a double team and get in the backfield, but you got to eat up space. You have to eat up blockers, and Aleem McNeil can do that. Now, the question comes, can Devon Hamilton play that spot as well? I thought he showed a lot last year.
Yeah.
I think Devon Hamilton's athletic enough to even play a 3 technique in a 3-4 defense. So like a 3-4 defensive end as opposed to defensive tackle. But to get back to Steven's question, Aleem McNeil, I think he'd be suitable. I'm going to be honest with you, Steven. I'm disappointed, though, because that interception that he had for a touchdown, that was not a Naruto run. I'm sorry to say it, was not confirmed.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What is that?
It's an anime. Remember when those guys are going to go to Area 51 and they're going to bust? That's what it's like. It's running like this.
Okay.
Like so your hands behind you, kind of like a ninja. That's what that run is. He had his hands out like this, like an airplane. So it was more like the Jets of old. Bart Scott used to do this all the time when he got a sack. Yeah. So it wasn't really that, but I think he looks like a pretty interesting prospect.
2 quick things. If I think nose tackles, I think Vince Wilfork.
Sure.
I actually think even here, Marcel Darius played the nose at times in his career, and then when there were other times where they asked him to rush more. But when he needed to be a space eater and don't worry about the sacks, he could be that guy. So that's who I think of. That's what. But the Wilfork one is a better comp, right? Because that was more when he went to Houston, especially, would have been in the 3-4.
Listen, correct. When you think of a space eater, think of Terrence Knighton. Think of pot roast.
Perfect.
Think about what he did in Denver. Just think about
but don't worry about the quarterback.
Terrence Knighton actually got the Broncos to the Super Bowl that one year because he sacked Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But no, that's not the primary job. The primary job of a nose tackle in a 3-4 defense is to eat up space, take on double teams. Like when you see these comps saying, well, these guys, there's no pass rush. You don't need the pass rush. Well, what you need is explosiveness, good hand balance, and a good anchor.
And lastly, what if you did have Devon Hamilton and say a guy like Barmore or McNeil? Are you okay going that young? I mean, or do you prefer to try to bring somebody in that has a few more years and a little more seasoned? Sure, that looks good for the next 3, 4, 5, potentially 10 years if they're both good.
Without a doubt.
But at the same time, I feel like that's a lot of youth.
No, without a doubt. Like you definitely need some experience because keep in mind, even though Hamilton could be interesting, he didn't play that last year. So you're essentially teaching him a new technique. Well, he played it in college, but you have to re-ingrain him in that 2-gap technique. So I would definitely bring in some free agent guys that are used to playing it. Also, Gunter. Is Gunter still considered?
I think he's done.
He's done. Okay, he's not coming back.
I can't imagine he's ever playing again.
I got you. Yeah, right. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So,
well, I don't think we fully know. But that doesn't seem like, hey, I'm going to get better from, and I can go play football. That was something they caught. That's a good thing they caught with the heart condition.
And then Al Woods, do we know about him?
Now, that's a better ask. I just don't see it. Sure. A guy that's 12-year vet, opted out, hasn't played now. It's a good thought. I just don't see that happen. I'd be surprised if he's on the Jags next year. I mean, he's out of my mind in that sense.
I hear you.
Grass or artificial turf? We'll answer that part of the question next on ESPN 690. No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Cease and desist.
You gotta love lawyer talk, don't you? I got a letter from the competitor's lawyer accusing us of stealing all their best people. They demanded that we cease and desist. The ugly truth is that the other company was actively driving away their best people. Management didn't treat them right, so they voted with their feet. Those plumbers and techs initially hired on somewhere else other than Griffin Service. Except those somewhere else companies weren't any better in terms of how they mistreated their people. So a few of those guys came to work for me at Griffin Service, where I absolutely gave them the respect and appreciation they deserved. Then word got around.
If you want the best job you'll ever have, come work for Tom at Griffin Service.
That's good news for amazing AC techs and plumbers, and bad news for my competitors and their lawyers. Because I'm not going to stop revolutionizing the AC and plumbing industries here in Jacksonville, and I'll never cease and desist from treating my people and my customers the way they deserve.
GriffinService.com.
License number 1250697.
Did you know breast cancer kills 113 people every day? That's unacceptable.
African American women die from breast cancer nearly 41% more than Caucasian women.
That's unacceptable.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of all cancer deaths for Hispanic women.
Breast cancer is unacceptable.
Together with Susan G. Komen, we're committed to reducing U.S. breast cancer deaths by half.
And we're going to do it by 2026.
Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
So you walk into your favorite store, go to the razor section, and it hits you. So many options. How do you choose? 8-blade, 10-blade, or 50-blade razor that requires 2 hands to operate? Dollar Shave Club, which is now at a store near you, has got your back.
They have a premium 6-blade cartridge designed for daily shavers with short hair and a 4-blade cartridge for less frequent shavers with longer hair. The blades are spaced out a little more for easy rinsing because more blades isn't always better.
Are you still confused? Well, I told you Dollar Shave Club's got you, and they do. DSC put both cartridges in one new starter box so you can test drive both. You might even like both. You might have to shave your face every day or your head every few days, or maybe once a week you have to shave your shoulders before your girlfriend starts calling you a bear.
For more info, visit dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. Again, that's dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. And check out DSC at your nearest store. You got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
Hey everyone, this is Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. But if you missed the show today, you missed this. Are the Buffalo Bills for real?
I think they are. I mean, I've been a big Josh Allen supporter. I think.
How about his start?
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm not surprised.
I guess Jalen Ramsey wasn't right about him being trash. Subscribe to the podcast and check the show out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Get the podcast daily. All you have to do is search ESPN 690 in your podcast app.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm
Christine Lisi developing story. The Lakers waiting for word on big man Anthony Davis. He'll undergo an MRI today. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Davis aggravated tendinosis in his right Achilles, causing swelling last night. So what do the defending champs do if AD's absence is a lengthy one? ESPN's Matt Barnes weighs in.
You raise LeBron's minutes. Someone that first comes to mind is Montrezl Harrell, someone who's been having a great season that they picked up and acquired from the Clippers. I think his role increases, but normally, it's always the next man up mentality. But when you lose a star like AD, it's going to take a team effort to kind of accumulate what he was able to do by himself.
The NBA's postponed tomorrow's Spurs-Pistons game. San Antonio does not have the required 8 players due to COVID protocol. Woj also reporting the Pistons and forward Blake Griffin have agreed he'll be held out of the lineup until the franchise and his reps work through a resolution of his playing future. They're discussing a possible trade or contract buyout. Cavaliers won't play center Andre Drummond as they try to work and trade him. UCF hiring former Auburn coach Gus Malzahn as its new head football coach.
Have you been wronged by bad breakfast? Get the breakfast you deserve with Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $4. Pick 2 sandwiches like their honey butter chicken biscuit, classic sausage egg and cheese, or classic bacon egg and cheese. Only at participating Wendy's for a limited time. Single item at regular price.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
He checks a lot of boxes. He does a lot of things really well. Is it a guarantee that he's going to be great? No, I'm chuckling here and Zubin, talk about Andrew Luck as this generational player. Look, that's always the fear. That can always be the case. But if you're looking for the thing that gives you all this concern, I just don't know that there is something that's obvious that gives you concern about him.
That's Tim Hasselbeck. Obviously, the quarterback position.
Yeah.
What's interesting is because of the nature of the quarterback position, I would think there'd be more skepticism on Trevor Lawrence anyway. I mean, not to say Hasselbeck wasn't bullish on him there, but there was a little hesitation to be like, okay, let's put him in the Hall of Fame. And I think that's okay. You're just surprised more people aren't. That's how much. I think to the point right now, this is my only little bit of fear factor on Trevor Lawrence, is that I think almost anybody's afraid to say anything. It would look so far off the deep end to say anything critical of Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's going to make it, or I don't think he's the guy, or I don't think that nobody's willing to do it. Now,
and you of all people shouldn't be willing to do it right now.
Well, I'm not willing to do it.
I feel like you're about to drop something on us here.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I mean, in this draft, everybody always does that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there was somebody that thought Johnny Manziel was going to go to the Hall of Fame, and then there were a lot of people. Not all prospects are like that, where they're polarizing. But I would imagine there are some people. I got to go back and look. And maybe not when you get to the Elways, the Peyton Mannings, and the Andrew Lucks. But when you get to those guys, I got to believe there's some folks that said, Andrew Luck, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not as crazy on this guy as everybody else is. Look at all the people that talk football now. There's always somebody willing to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's anybody willing to do that on Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, that's great. But he has never played a snap in the NFL. Where are the flaws? Like when I asked McShay on Friday, I said, Todd, why is he so, I get it. He checks boxes, but there's a lot more things than just checking boxes. Arm strength, 6'6". He can move. There's a lot more to the position than that. He's like, find me a flaw. And so they can't do it. They can't find the flaw. And that's not to say he's a perfect human being, but he is about as perfect of a draft prospect at the QB position as you can remember. And it's right next to the Lucks, the Mannings, the everything else. I'm just waiting for the outlier guy. And maybe as we get closer to the draft, somebody would double down and be like, oh, no, wait until I'm good. And then that guy 5 years from now, if things don't go right, or if he has an 5-interception game, I told you, that's the world we live in. I'm waiting for that guy. It doesn't happen. I mean, which is really cool for Jacksonville and for Trevor Lawrence. like we've all said, he seems like a can't miss. And what I've always said is the floor seems to be good. Like the floor for Trevor Lawrence, based on what he is and what people say about him, is good. And obviously the ceiling is potentially Canton, Ohio.
No, without a doubt. And listen, I've spoke my piece about how I feel about Trevor Lawrence, and all I had to see was it would have been his freshman year in the national championship game. Because I remember going into that game and seeing, the offensive and defensive juggernauts that Alabama was, and they were slated to, in my opinion, dominate this game. And I was like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he had a good season, but listen, he's still a rookie. He's still a freshman, and he's taking on an Alabama defense that, they got first round after first round on that team. And, I didn't make any bets or anything like that, but I just said, I remember with my friends watching, like, dude, this is going to be a blowout. Like, Alabama's got this in the bag. Like, there's no way a freshman's going to come in and blow Alabama's doors off. Why was I wrong? Right? And when I saw that freshman do his thing, I'm like, okay, well, now it's in my mind that whoever gets this guy in the future, it'll be a couple years, but whoever this guy goes to an NFL franchise, it's going to be special.
Yeah.
And that's what I've still stood by to this day, just because I've seen the good. I've seen the deck stacked against him, all the pressure on him, and the kid shines. And you know what? I've seen some of the bad, too, but you know what? The bad, you would take that bad in Jacksonville any day of the week.
Like, the bad comes with, excuses, right? He didn't have his top receiver this year, had a not-so-great offensive line this year. And was it really as bad as we're saying, or is it as bad as the standard he set?
Well, it's like the Ohio State-Clemson game. Everyone wanted to say Fields outplayed him. Sure, and I'll be the first one to say that Fields definitely outplayed Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence didn't play bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Trevor Lawrence had some pretty damn good numbers. You got to give him some credit.
360 or something like that. Yeah. But Brett Martin, Austin Lane here on a Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, everybody. It's going to be interesting when it comes to that part of it, right? You're just so ballyhooed. And again, I think what's important is, and somebody said this on one of my stops, he's lived up to it. He has lived up to it. I'll tell you one more thing on Trevor right now. I won't be fooled twice by Dabble Swinney. See, I didn't believe Dabble Swinney on Deshaun Watson. I was like, he's just pumping up his guy.
Sure.
I wasn't this huge Watson guy coming up. Very good quarterback, but I just wasn't like, okay, we'll see. We'll see if it's going to be in the NFL. I can't sit here and say, like, Jags should have picked Watson. Like, I wasn't saying that at the time. And boy, Dabble Swinney was like, yeah, you just wait. Didn't he, say something like Michael Jordan related?
That I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he said something to that effect. Something like, what? You're just sticking up for your guy.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Dabo was pretty darn close to being right in terms of being a very good franchise guy, change your franchise kind of guy. And he just said about Trevor Lawrence, he's not going to just change Jacksonville. This guy's going to be a global icon. I think that's a phrase he used.
Sure.
So I'm all in on you, Dabble.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe you. And I hope you're right.
Hopefully you are, man. Hopefully you are.
And I hope you're right. But maybe he's a good judge.
Yeah.
And he was right on Watson, so I won't be fooled by that.
I think he compared it to Steph Curry's shooting. I think I found the article.
That was. You're right. You're right. He did. And again, that in layman's terms makes a lot of sense. That's a good visual, right? That I would say. I always tell you this: go watch Stanton. I don't like the Yankees. I don't like Stanton on the Yankees. But go watch a BP and you'll be in awe.
Of course.
Right? And that's what he was talking about with Lawrence throwing the football. And we were in awe on that last throw and some other throws. So, he's not wrong. But his projection of Deshaun Watson was pretty close to right on. Let's hope his projection of Trevor Lawrence is pretty close to right on. Let's get South Beach Gary on real quick. What's up, man? Thanks for hanging around. Hope you had a good weekend.
Sure, you too. Hey, Austin, Brent. Hey, Austin, having been in several NFL locker rooms, the thing with where Urban Meyer stated the fact that Chris Doyle was vetted and to trust me, that's not going to fly with the players. And when they meet with Urban Meyer, he's going to have to answer some difficult questions to the satisfaction of those players, or his tenure could be problematic even before it's really just begun.
Thanks, South Beach Gary. Appreciate it. What do you think? Well, what do you think about what South Beach Gary just said?
Yeah, I've kind of stated this a little bit. I think this would have been on Friday. Listen, Urban Meyer wants to bring in the best of the best for his football team. And that's fine and everything, but I also think you have to bring in some of the best people, okay? And obviously Doyle does not fit that mold. And I think that when you want to bring in the best for your players, it's not like college football where you have a bunch of young men coming from high school who you can shape and you can mold. These guys are already molded, All right, these guys already kind of think for themselves, if you will, and you didn't really consolidate any of those guys. You didn't really ask for their opinions because you haven't met them yet. So essentially what you're doing right now when you're building this team with this coaching staff is you're trying to put the players' best interest in mind because you haven't spoke with them. You have no idea what you're getting into quite yet. And with that Chris Doyle, signing, and when you brought him in, you didn't speak with the players. You didn't get opinions, and you just kind of said, this would be the best for the team. Well, was it truly best for the team? Because now that guy is gone. And I completely agree with South Beach Gary. That conversation will come up about what was going through Urban Meyer's head, why he brought Doyle in, what the vision was supposed to be, because there's plenty of guys in that locker room, old and young, that are kind of like, hey, what was up the Doyle signing in the first place? So I agree with South Beach Gary.
Here's the thing. I thought about this a lot over the weekend, right? And there's a lot going on here with the Chris Doyle stuff, and we talked about it Thursday and Friday. You can also go back and check out our conversations. I won't rehash a lot of that. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast. But when the news hit late Friday, again, which was a crazy late news break, I was stunned, actually. Were you surprised to see the Jags pivot like that?
As in letting him go?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it came down to Urban Meyer. And I didn't think Urban Meyer was going to budge.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I was like, okay, they're going to weather this.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's best. He's not going to go back on this. And my feeling was, listen, we'll see where it's at. There's going to be players will say something, and then after that, if nothing goes wrong, then I don't think this will be a headline anymore. Mm-hmm. Well, they either didn't feel that way or something else changed. And so my question is, what else changed? Did they read the reaction in the room? Obviously too late, but did they read the room, meaning the country?
Yeah.
Did Shad Khan put a lot of trust into Urban and say, listen, you make your staff. I trust you to make your staff. Now, Urban Meyer on Thursday said, I vetted him. I ran it by Shad. I ran it by Trent Baalke. But, running it by and saying, hey, look, this is what could happen. We could get this reaction. We could do all this stuff. I don't know if he did that. Did Shad Khan then say, hey, listen, man, I love a lot of your hires, but there's got to be somebody else. Can we can't do this. Did he step in and veto this even though it had already been done? Or did Urban get some feedback in the 24 hours after the announcement from players and from maybe even his own staff members that said, listen, this isn't going to be good? I guess the fourth option is, was it all Chris Doyle? Chris Doyle just been like, hey, listen, I don't want to be this kind of distraction, Urban.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And this isn't, I didn't know the reaction would be like this either, or I'm going to do this on my own. So I don't know if that's, hey, listen, that happens too. I don't want to just dismiss the idea that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm basically giving you four opportunities to say, why did they make this move late Friday night? Was it Chris Doyle himself? Was it Shad Khan that said, no way, we ain't doing this? No. We did the Jags just did they read the reaction and make a pivot because of the reaction around the country? Or did staff/players internally voice their displeasure, and then Urban said, you know what, this ain't going to work?
Listen, I think it's a combination of a couple things. Now, to answer your first, theory here, Shad Khan. Shad Khan made it a habit I guess the past couple months of saying he's going to be more involved.
And said he was the last 15 months.
He's going to be more involved with the transactions, with who they bring in, the hiring process, all that stuff. So his thumbprint is on all of this stuff, right? And I was really surprised on that second press release that Shad Khan's name wasn't on there.
Yeah.
To me, it was peculiar. Because you just got done saying how you're going to be more involved with all these transactions, and then you put Baalke's name on there, you put Urban Meyer's name on there, but I didn't see Shad Khan's name. And this is after, when questioned about Doyle at the opening press conference for the coaching staff, even, Urban Meyer said that he vetted, and he talked to Shad Khan about this. So Shad Khan knew what was up, okay? And listen, I've never been in an NFL front office. But I spoke, as soon as that got announced, the first thing I said on the show to open things up is there's going to be an avalanche coming. There's going to be a storm coming. Yeah, you guys better get ready because a lot of people are going to have things to say about this. And for them not to have the foresight of it, and I don't want to be like, hey, I told you so, because that's not my business, man. I can really care less. I don't want to point the finger at the organization and say, hey, I was right, you were wrong, because come on, man, I'm covering this team. I want to see them do well. But to not have anybody in that building between Shad Khan, Tony Khan, even Balky to go, hey, you know what? This hire right here may not be for the best in terms of optics. We're trying to turn over a new leaf here, and maybe bringing him in right now is not the best idea. For nobody to go to Urban Meyer and stand up to him and say we shouldn't do this is baffling to me. Okay? It's baffling. So I don't think it was Shad Khan. I think it was a combination maybe of some players speaking out. I think it was a combination of Balky speaking out. And I think it was a combination of, the
reaction.
Chris Doyle, the reaction, obviously, and Chris Doyle seeing the reaction and going, all right, like, listen, I get it. I know we're friends and everything, 20-plus years, whatever the case may be, but this is going to do more harm than good. I'm out.
So, yeah, I don't know this answer, by the way. Like, I mean, we are speculating what the answer is. I don't know. I almost feel like if I had to pick one, I'd certainly think the reaction had something to do with it.
Of course.
Okay.
But
and opened everybody's eyes.
But then how can't you gauge that reaction? Like, how can't you prepare for the reaction, man? Like, you knew that was going to happen.
I don't know. Like, I say this all the time. This is on a very dumbed down level, okay? Like, I say this on Twitter a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at I might put a tweet out there, be like, I don't know what. I mean, might just put it out for the heck of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not controversial or anything. I'm just saying it's just put a tweet out there. And I'm like, hey, this might do us an interesting note or a nugget or whatever. And get like 2 likes and a retweet. And nobody looks at it. And then I'll put something out and it'll be like, just like this whatever thing. I'm like, well, okay. And all of a sudden it will go, there's like 600 likes on it. And so I'm like, what do we do?
Wildfire. Yeah.
Why? Like, why did that tweet register and others didn't? Now, again, I told you this would be a very dumbed down comparison. So I don't know if you know how the room is going to react all the time. Because first of all, I think you have to acknowledge that there's a sense of blinders on when you're inside a building. This happens at the collegiate level, but it also happens at the NFL level.
Yeah.
There's a sense of blinders. There's no doubt about that. Like, you live in your bubble. You're not living on Twitter. You're not living listening to national sports shows. You just don't. They don't live there. They don't. And so whether initially they didn't care about the reaction because they don't live in that world, or they just didn't think it would be as monumental as it was and as controversial as it was, I just think that's a different world than the one we sit here and predict what the reaction will be. Like, I don't know how much they said. Urban's like, well, listen, I think this guy's going to be really good. And we're going to put him in this director of sports performance role. And you know me, I also thought this was miscalculated a little bit by everybody else. That job is not strength and conditioning necessarily.
It deals with strength and conditioning.
I understand, but it's not. We have a vision of a strength and conditioning coach, and he's yelling at you to get 325 pounds up for your 5th rep.
Sure.
Right? That's my vision. That's not the role this guy was in. So again, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying I'm trying to think like them internally at why they thought, we'll just put him in the director of sports performance role. We're not making him our offensive coordinator. This probably won't come with as much criticism. Blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
I also think Urban probably didn't even read the fact that, hey, we already knew Schottenheimer and Bevel and Cullen and Schneider. Like, those guys weren't going to hide this hire. We've been talking about those guys for weeks.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So so they misread the reaction. I really believe that's a huge part of it. But I actually think it might be the staff that actually, people like Charlie Strong, that's his right-hand man.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong probably had a conversation with Urban, like, dude, this ain't going to work. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, again, I don't know. We're just speculating. My question is, who basically turned this thing and to allow them to do a 180 and say, this isn't going to work? I would think a guy like Charlie Strong would be a big voice in that part.
But here's the thing, though. Urban Meyer has made it perfectly clear that Charlie Strong is the number 2, and he was the first guy that Urban Meyer hired. You don't think that conversation would have took part before Charlie Strong even got, like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about signing this guy. What do you think about it? Like, I don't think he really confided in anybody.
That goes back to even Charlie Strong's lived in that bubble for a long time, man. He's not living in the social media, national radio, watching Get Up in the morning. He's not living in that world. I just think there is a totally different world people live in. So I think this leads to, again, why does it matter? Go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is this, though. Okay, I get it, like, they live in a bubble, and Urban Meyer may not have known, Charlie Strong may not have known. Okay, but I look at the old regime, and there's still faces like Shad Khan. He's been here for a while now, right? Tony Khan's been here for a while. And you saw what happened over the whole grievance thing. Like, for a while, the Jaguars were the laughing stock of national media because of grievances being filed. Like, what, 75%, 8% of the grievances?
25%, yeah.
No, 80% were the...
No, it was like 25% of the league.
Oh, the league. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Where were the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, embarrassing
and then,
moment.
And then what happened to the NFLPA? They came out and said, essentially, you guys shouldn't go play in Jacksonville. Yes. Okay, that was embarrassing. So, like, you have to...
This was the same thing, by the way. It was embarrassing. The Fritz Pollard alliance comes out and hammers the Jags as well.
And this is what I was trying to say. This is my point is, listen, you have to let, like, the past... you have to learn from it. All right, you didn't learn anything because listen, you have to understand when there's race involved, when there's especially nowadays, Brent, in 2021, second chance involved, all that stuff, and you're talking about a first-year coach, and you're talking about a new regime coming in. You had to know that stuff was going to happen, and you had to know when it was going to happen what the optics were going to be like.
I think they did know what was going to happen. I don't think they knew to the degree it was going to happen.
Yeah.
No, that's my point. I don't think they were blind to the fact that they might get a little pushback. Mm-hmm. Because if I were them, what I would have done is I would have canceled that news conference. I would have announced it, and I would have, if you really wanted this guy, I would have said, given it 24 hours before I talk about it. So then I could craft a better answer than Urban Meyer crafted. Because all he basically said 3 times over when asked about it was, we vetted the guy. And he brought Shad in as we vetted the guy through Shad, through Balky. And then he said, but he's the best guy. But he's the best guy. Well, is this really the best for the team? Like, if you're really trying to do the best for the players and best for the team, is this guy the best for them? Might be good at the job, but is he best for them? And so he could have crafted a way better response and then explained further maybe that he's not the strength and conditioning coach. We moved him to a different role. He's not going to be around the players day to day. You could have done a myriad of things if you had given it 24 hours before talking about it. That showed me how blind he was to the kind of reaction he was going to get. Again, I think he was going to get reaction. He was ready for the we vetted him part, but he didn't give a good enough answer. And therefore got lambasted even more Thursday night into Friday. My last part of this, Coos, I know we got to go break, but who is the checks and balances for Urban Meyer then? If Urban Meyer was given the keys here to kind of do whatever he wanted, who's the because you bring up the Coughlin thing, and the last time Shad gave somebody the keys to the car, Coughlin got 25% of the NFLPA grievances, and it created kind of a mess.
Yes.
And so he's giving Urban the keys to the car. We get it. Right? That's part of the deal. That's what you do when you bring someone Urban. But somebody still has to be at checks and balances, whether it's Urban's chief of staff, whether it's Balky. And Balky doesn't seem like he has a lot of power from the outside. I don't know if he does, but he doesn't seem to. The perception is he's under Urban as the GM. And then, again, Charlie Strong, is he a powerful voice here? Shad Khan, is he communicating all the time and rubber stamping these things, or is he kind of like, check back in a week and tell me what you decided? Who's the check? Everybody needs checks and balances. Everybody. So who's going to be that person? And whoever that was this time, if it didn't exist, it failed.
Yeah.
And if they did have somebody, they probably failed too on this front.
You know, what's been the overall synopsis the past couple months, Brent, before we knew Urban Meyer was going to come here, but like, what were we looking for? It was communication, right? How many times have we echoed on the show, you got to have communication, right? Because the old regime, the communication, there was a breakdown there, and it was a problem. And then you bring Urban Meyer in, and now we're sitting here because, to me, it was very telling when they put out the press release Friday night. And they said, all right, Urban Meyer, in retrospect, and they used the verbiage in retrospect and looking back on it now, okay, fine. And, like, I took that for what it was worth. Now, it is what it is. I took it for what it was worth. And then Saturday morning comes out, and then you release another one involving the GM. So in that time period from 11 p.m. on Friday night till the news cycle on Saturday, you want to bring out something else. It's like, listen, what happened in that time? Because people weren't on the same page again.
I don't even get it. Why did you have to add Balky? Was that an Urban ego thing?
Because, well, once again, it's communication, Brent. Now, listen, I don't know how much influence Balky had on that decision.
I think
it was Urban Meyer. But at the end of the day, the fact that you had to put out another press release and include his name, once again, communication, we are on the same point.
Yeah.
And to me, I'll be honest, like, I understand it's just one little thing right now, but it worries me. Okay, it worries me when you have to put out 2 press releases for the same statement because you didn't include the GM on the first one. Like, that to me shows a lack of communication. That is the one thing that I've been preaching the past how many months of you got to have communication. You got to have communication. You got to have communication. And what happened Friday and then to Saturday shows that they're not on the same page right now, and they better get on the same page, as I'm going to say.
Well, whether it was a Freudian slip or not, the fact that it just had Urban's name first shows you that everybody thinks Urban's, even internally, is probably just making the decisions.
Sure.
And then, wait a minute, now we got a GM too. We're in partnership together. Oh, yeah, let's add that to the whole thing was clunky, sloppy, and a bad weekend for the Jags. I mean, it was a bad Thursday, Friday, Saturday, despite their future franchise quarterback who seems can't miss throwing on Friday morning. It was bad. I mean, there's no other way to get around it. And I guess the good thing now, at least for the Jags' perspective, is they can move forward. And Chris Doyle's not a part of their staff. I guess ultimately, maybe you could say they got it right. Ultimately, after a bad 72 hours of trying.
No, for sure. Like, I mean, listen, obviously, you know how I feel about the decision. It is what it is, but I'm glad to see, like, you at least saved a little face by diffusing the situation when you did. And it is what it is from there.
All right, we got to take a break. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We're still going to get to the grass surface versus artificial turf.
Yes.
I think we have Lance hanging on the line. We'll try to get, if you got a few minutes to hang on, sorry, Lance, we'll get back to the Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence as well. And a lot of Teal rumors, huh?
I mean, I wouldn't really call them rumors anymore.
So you think it's like guaranteed Teal?
Well, I mean, unless you're just trying to be cryptic for the heck of it, I think something's about to happen.
Did you solve a riddle today?
Wasn't that hard, to tell you the truth.
Was it you or Dilla?
Well, the only reason why I solved it and I figured it out in the first place was because Dilla used to do the same thing back in free agency.
All right.
I'm a little Sherlock Holmes.
Dilla leading the way.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy today, and we are tracking a cold front bringing us scattered showers and storms where there can be a few isolated strong storms producing gusty winds and small hail. We'll top out, though, into the mid-70s, then drop to 60 degrees with a few spotty lingering showers. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Hey, boss, check this out. You're never home alone and you're never away from home with Safe Touch.
What now? Never home alone? Now that one I get. It's because of the two-way communicator.
Yup. Any emergency and you're talking with the operator in seconds.
Right. Never home alone. Yeah, but what about this never away from home thing?
See, with Safe Touch's smart home automation, you can control your house from anywhere.
What, is it that smartphone thingy again?
Yeah, with the Safe Touch app, you can check your camera feeds, turn on the lights, drop the AC down, lock the doors. Boss, it's like you're there.
Never away from home. Never home alone, never away from home. This changes nothing. I still hate Safe Touch, and we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay Safe Touch houses. I need an aspirin.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or .com. State license number EF233.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. Help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
Transmission problems? Call Action Transmission Specialists on Merrill Road, where you get the work done right the first time by the experts. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. Our techs can service all makes and models, and we provide a nationwide warranty, so you have the peace of mind knowing we we solve your transmission troubles fairly and honestly and guaranteed nationwide. Call us at Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road, where quality counts. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Reggae legends, the Wailers, with Grammy-nominated singer Julian Marley, perform at the Florida Theater Saturday, February 20th. Tickets are on sale now. Don't miss the Wailers, with Grammy-nominated Julian Marley performing all the great Bob Marley hits at the Florida Theater Saturday, February 20th. Get tickets by calling 904-355-ARTS or visit floridatheater.com.
Have you seen it? I'm talking about the all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota, where they're celebrating with savings all month long. So what are you waiting for? Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 RAV4 LE or a new 2021 Tacoma SR. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $299 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. Celebrate with savings and come see the new showroom at Arlington Toyota today. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/February for full details.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Did you know breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people every year in the U.S.?
That's 113 people every day.
Breast cancer is unacceptable. Visit Komen.org/unacceptable.
Hey, do you owe more than $25,000 on your car, a truck, or that toy in the driveway? Refinance your auto loan with One-to-One Financial. We'll not only lower your payments, but we'll put $200 cash in your pocket. Plus, we have the lowest loan rates in town. Make some room in your budget and put more cash in your pocket. When you refinance with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Apply today at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
I despise analytics. It felt like Kevin Cash lost his ability to feel the game.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio or streaming live on the ESPN app.
Brent Martineau. All right, Jason Fitz, thanks for checking in, man. We didn't try to keep you too long today. We gave you a shorter day.
Austin Lane.
Hey, Jason, real quick, man. Since you have that Bowenikoff Award, since you can, vote on that, Murray State's got a couple good receivers. Now, they didn't play this year. Okay, they didn't play a game this year, but Murray State's got a couple good receivers. Just check them out real quick.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
This is a guy who's elite. You think about last year's draft, Cam Newton wouldn't have been a Carolina Panther had Andrew Luck come out last year. Andrew Luck would have been with the Panthers, maybe Newton with Buffalo. You think about RG3, back in the summer, there were some analysts, not me, but some analysts thinking maybe a projection to wide receiver. I think for RG3, there's a big gap, big differential in rating between Luck and RG3, and really for RG3, a big differential between where he is and where the next quarterback, be it Brock Osweiler from Arizona State or Ryan Tannehill from Texas A&M or Nick Foles from Arizona. They're dropped down significantly on the board from where RG3 is. So it's Luck, RG3, and then everybody else.
That's interesting. That's Mel Kiper, obviously, back before that draft in what would have been 2012. And, boy, how it's interesting to go back and listen to that stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's just wild to hear it. And now they were really right year one, right? Luck and RG3, obviously, you wowed everybody. Just didn't have the staying power. I think if you go back and you look and you say, wow, Tannehill will now be the guy.
Yeah.
He's like the best one of that class right now, right? Because Luck's retired.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying overall he was the best. I'm just saying he's the best one right now. And also Foles is the only guy that's won a Super Bowl out of all that.
So it was interesting. I was watching after the Trevor Lawrence Pro Day on ESPN2. They had, I forgot who the dude was, but he was like a draft expert on the ACC network. And they had like this criteria. It was like the quarterback rating scale or something like that. It was like, basically it's another criteria that says this guy's going to be this good or whatever.
Yeah.
And they compared it since Andrew Luck came out. And Trevor Lawrence, I think, was a 98 overall. Andrew Luck was a 97. And then they had 295s in that group. So they're pretty comparable. The 295s were Jameis Winston and RG3.
Really?
And it's like, okay, I mean, I like the Andrew Luck comparison. We'll take that all day. I don't think Jacksonville's going to take Jameis Winston or RG3, though. And RG3 is more of an injury thing, I think, than anything. But let's be honest. I mean, the guy fell off real quick.
Not only that, but RG3 was about 5 years before his time.
Yeah.
If RG3 got drafted now, and again, injuries, I think you're right, but RG3 got drafted now, how much better would he fit, right? With what, obviously, he's in Baltimore with what Lamar Jackson's doing and what the willingness. Again, it's not about them. It's about the coaches and about the NFL, their willingness to adopt to that style and the college style a little bit more. Hey, just a quick weather update. We're going to get Lance on here in a moment, but tornado watch until 10 o'clock in the area. There's been some tornado warnings in the area. You can listen over to the 104.5 WOKV for the very latest. Our Action News Jax First Alert weather team, also on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But some significant weather in the area out to our west, south as well. I know Putnam and Columbia counties had some tornado warnings and watches, so make sure you get the latest 104.5 WOKV and also on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30. If anything gets super close here in Duval County, we could potentially even flip over to some weather to give you the latest, again, with the First Alert weather team led by, of course, Chief Meteorologist Mike Borish. That's the latest on that front. Let's talk a little bit more about the quarterbacks right now and bring in Lance. He's been hanging on the line for a while, so I wanted to get to Lance. Lance, thanks for hanging around for us, man. What's up?
Hey, no problem, guys. Y'all were just talking earlier about, why so many people showed up to Trevor Lawrence and everything like that, and I just wanted to give you a little take on this. Is, they keep saying that he's the best since Andrew Luck. Well, I would even go so far to say that really the NFL world are saying he's the best since John Elway. Because if you really go back and listen, if you listen to Mel Kiper, yeah, he said what he said. But there was people like Tony Dungy, even said he called the Colts and said they were making a mistake taking Luck, that RG3 should really be the guy, and that he had RG3 graded higher than Andrew Luck. And even if you go back to Peyton and Ryan Leaf, there was some people said Ryan Leaf should come out over Peyton. So I think the reason everybody's getting so excited is we haven't seen anybody that's this clear cut, hands down, the number one guy going all the way back to John Elway. And that's just got me excited as a Jaguars fan.
Hey, Lance, you should be excited, man. I think it's awesome. No doubt about it. Appreciate the call again. Thanks for hanging on and listening to the show here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Yeah, I wasn't trying to scare anybody. I don't need to hear anything negative. I'm just surprised that there's not any negative comments. And you just said it. The grade's what, a 98? It's like the highest grade for whatever you saw.
This is one scale. I mean, there's so many different criterias out there.
The bottom line is it doesn't matter who you ask. You're going to get that kind of response, whether it's comps to Manning, Luck, John Elway, or whether it's these super high grades that nobody's ever seen. I mean, at Clemson alone, you look at what Watson has done, and Lawrence is considered a better prospect, better even in his college days than Watson was. And so let's just say this. If he can just be better than Watson for the rest of his life, they're probably doing all right.
For sure. No,
right?
You're not lying, man.
You're
not lying. And, listen, I guess – I'm trying to think of who the last clear-cut number one. Would you say Joe Burrow? I guess Joe Burrow, huh?
Well, Burrow was an easy number one, but I don't think everybody was convinced Burrow was going to be great. It wasn't a consensus.
Yeah.
It's two different things, right?
True.
Who's going to be the clear-cut number one? And that doesn't happen all the time, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
But, even Manning and Leaf, it wasn't clear-cut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But can't miss is a different conversation.
Sure.
And especially at the QB position. And there's been a handful or less of those over the years. Mm-hmm. And obviously the latest being Andrew Luck. And they were right on Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was a terrific player.
Yeah.
Fantastic player.
Yeah.
So, again, sign me up for Andrew Luck. Sign me up for John Elway. Sign me up for a little bit better than Deshaun Watson, and I take it. Mm-hmm. And that's what you got in Trevor Lawrence. And what I've really just tried to pound home for the last few weeks is it's not an over-dramatization. He is considered to be that good. That can't miss. And he's lived up to the hype in the past, and he's coming to Jacksonville.
Yep.
He just can't get over the middle of December, how the storyline changed and the luck of this franchise might have changed for the Jaguars, which is pretty cool. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Stuart Weber checks in here from the Action Sports Jax department down in Daytona as well. Stuart, natural grass or artificial turf? Not for racing.
Well, you're talking about NASCAR, right? Because I can make a compelling argument.
I know. You're a little mad about the sod at Daytona.
I'm very mad about the sod. Taking out my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney, was doing fine in that big opening wreck. Got forced into the infield. The wet grass tore apart the front end of his car. And a case can be made for the artificial turf because that's what they've done in Charlotte. They replaced the grass with turf, and now if your car goes in there, you just glide right across it. You don't tear up your $1 million car and mess up your chances for winning the Great American Race.
Across and nothing slows you down.
It's true.
At 200 miles an hour.
Yeah. But sometimes that's not awful because, if your car's not broken, then you can keep going.
We were saying this. I was saying, that wreck, the first wreck around lap 15.
Not Derek Cope's wreck.
The sod alone probably will cost Daytona about $50,000.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And
got to replace your divots.
He said, that $50,000 of sod probably costs about $10 million in damage to the cars.
Sure. You're not wrong.
That's an expensive wreck.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Daytona, you pretty much know you're losing your car because you either win and it's going into Daytona USA to be on display for the next year, or you lose and it's going straight to the junk heap because it's probably destroyed.
Artificial turf or grass surface for the NFL or sports in general?
Grass all day.
All day, even though you hated Chicago.
It's not even close. Yeah, I hated Chicago and I hated Pittsburgh at some times, too, because Pittsburgh played with the University of Pitt. So it was kind of like double duty for some games.
It's interesting, right? Because you used to ask me this question, artificial turf. I would say, oh, no, grass all day instead of artificial turf because it used to be concrete. Like, it was really just, it looked like grass over concrete.
I mean, listen, Murray State was the last school in the NCAA to have actually AstroTurf as their field.
Really?
So my freshman and sophomore year, I played on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
I don't wear basketball shoes. You know how weird it is wearing basketball shoes playing football?
I know, it's odd, right?
It doesn't feel right.
Like, I don't think I ever played on a turf field.
Yeah.
Well, that's much more common now in baseball.
Okay.
All right. And, down in Newberry and down in Sanford, they have the turf fields. And so you don't wear spikes. You wear turf shoes to play on it. And so the kids are now a little bit more used to it. And you make at the youth level and the high school level, from a cost standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. And by the way, it has grown leaps and bounds. It's no longer hard. It's got give to it. It lasts like 10 years. There's a lot of reasons to like the turf. Now, baseball is a little tricky. You're not going to get a bad bounce. That's good. But it comes at you lightning quick. I mean, or you get a chopper and it's boom into the outfield. So there's some interesting dynamics to it. But I just think overall, at the high school level, we've seen from a cost-effective standpoint, it's a big upfront cost, but now you don't have to mow the field all the time. You get to put lacrosse, soccer, football, all these different sports on it without worrying about the weather.
And we've said this about a place like Lee High School where they've had turf issues at that football field forever. And the big reason why is because they don't have a practice field for football. They don't have a place to practice. Their game field is their practice field. If you have an artificial turf field, boom, problem solved.
Yeah.
You're not going to tear it up every day during the week getting ready for the game on Friday. And if you ask me grass versus artificial, I will say grass for the next 10 years, then artificial, because I feel like technology is going to keep advancing. They're going to get something even better. Think about how much it's come in the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who knows? 10 years from now, it could be that much better, and
it feels like you're on grass.
The great solution at that point. So I'm going to peer into the future and go there.
There used to be NFL guys would consider, I think, they worried about knee injuries, especially on the turf, right? Or leg injuries.
Was it New York this year where they had all those injuries right at the beginning of the season?
Yep.
Do you think people worry about that anymore, though, from the turf grass perspective?
I mean, yes and no. Like, there's always a worry, like, when it rains. I mentioned this during the break. So we played at Buffalo, and it was raining, and they had an artificial surface. When it rains like that, it gets very slick.
Yeah.
But, like, the way that field's set up, because I'm sure it's the same way, but, like, the ground-up tire, right? So you wear, like, the cleats with the ground-up
I end
tire.
up with all that in my shoes.
Exactly. But, like, the problem with that is it's a very slick surface until you plant your foot. And then when you plant your foot in that tire, well, then your cleat kind of sticks, and then you kind of, you can mess up your knees and things like that. So that's the big concern in my part. And that's what happened, I think, in New York when I'm reminded of Jordan Reed going towards the end zone, just on a routine play, literally like a routine. I think it was like a post route. He catches the ball, he plants, and just his leg just gives out because of the stickiness per se. I don't know how else to describe it, but like the stickiness of planting your foot, and that tire just grabs onto it, and then you can't have any kind of give in it.
I don't feel like I've ever asked Scobie this, but I got to believe kickers love the turf.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot less that can happen.
Feel,
I mean, now the slick nature of that for your plant foot could come into play depending on which surface you're on. But I would say 9 out of 10 times, you know what it is. There's a consistent surface, right?
And also, like,
it's better than the infield that they used to kick on in Oakland.
Yeah, for sure. But even if it rains on grass, bro, it's going to be slick as well. But
True.
I'm just reminded of, like, listen, I've told this story before. Chicago, and I'm not sure if they changed it by now, but, like, when I played, the worst surface by far. And the field looked immaculate. It looked beautiful. But for whatever reason, it was just the grass was so thick where, and listen, you know, they say you can have the molded cleats or like the 5-stud or the 7-stud cleats. So like the 7-stud are the screw-in ones, right? Well, players hate to wear the 7-stud cleats because they're not comfortable. All right, you basically have 7 spikes in your feet, and you got to step on them. And Chicago was the only place on grass where I'd have to play all my games with 7-studs. Like, I never even wore the molded cleats, just because it didn't pay. And like everyone on the team knew that as well. So it was kind of like a competitive advantage because teams would come in rocking the molded cleats, see the field is in horrible shape, and then change to the 7-studs.
Did you jump out to a lot of early leads in those games?
Nah, man, they won a lot of games that year, so there wasn't a lot of anything going on.
The advantage wasn't really there then, I guess.
9 out of 10 players would say grass, so you think?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's more comfortable. You get tackled, doesn't hurt as much. You make a tackle, doesn't hurt as much. You don't get the ground tire up in your eyes. Yeah, grass all day.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I agree with that. I think most people would say just there's something natural to it. That's why they call it natural grass, and there's just something that's how you grew up playing.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, there's something to be said for just like the Pop Warners, like playing in a grass field. It might be crappy, but it's still grass.
Even when it gets ripped up, even at the NFL level, it's still something about it. It's okay. Like if it's a bad surface on an artificial turf, you're like, what do you mean? How is this even messed up, right?
I was going to say, growing up in South Florida, there were no artificial turfs.
No, for sure.
Everything was all grass down there.
And listen, and Jacksonville's got it made, right, because the weather. I mean, they can have it year-round. But I'll say this. If Green Bay can find a way to have it in an immaculate field every single year in that kind of weather, I feel like every NFL team should be able to do that regardless of how much it costs. It's the NFL. You got money.
Michael McDowell wins the Daytona 500, Weber. We were there for every minute of it.
We certainly were there.
Listen, early on, fun stuff. I wouldn't say the middle of the race, once they started it back up, was anything great, but the end is what everybody pays attention to at Daytona, and it delivered again.
Yeah, that's the problem. Obviously, when you have a major wreck at the very beginning of it, 15 laps into it, it's going to change the entire complexion of the race. You take out, 15 some odd cars. You're not going to have the same sort of pack racing that you normally would. Instead, you get that follow the leader mentality. All the drivers are thinking, let's just get through these first 2 stages, get to the final stage, and try to get to a checker flag, especially after waiting 6 hours. I still feel like it stages 1 and 2 would have dragged on even if they didn't have that rain delay because of the lack of cars, because you have so many less contenders vying for spots and stage points at the end of each stage. But, yeah, in the end, you get what everybody came for. I know some of the guys like Denny Hamlin were a little confused why people weren't making the moves a little earlier.
Yeah.
And
by the way, the whole broadcast was. We were there, and you could hear it.
I was thinking the same thing, too.
You got to go with like 2 laps to go at the least,
2
right?
or 3, yeah. I mean, and we were following it. We're in a different spot this year because of the pandemic. We're in the stands, essentially.
Which was kind of cool.
It was. It was a different spot to see the race from. Takes me back to being a fan, of where you actually watch the race from. And so, we're on kind of that second level right near pit exit. And so from there, you can see the entire track, because in NASCAR, the higher you go, the more you can see. It's that weird paradox that the higher seats are better at a place like Daytona.
2.5 miles.
2.5 mile triover. You got to be able to see it all. And so, I'm following him going around with a camera, and I'm just like, when is the second line going to form and develop? Because in NASCAR, it's all, especially at Daytona, you need help. You need a run. You need a push from somebody in order to start that second line and really get after the leaders. And nobody was doing it. They were just letting Logano lead them round and round. And sure enough, it comes down to heading into turn 3 when you finally get that push and that run. And obviously proved to be a little bit too much of a push as McDowell put Keselowski right into Logano, took those 2 out, and away he went.
Do we like the McDowell win? Like, it's... We want big names, especially in a sport like NASCAR. You kind of want – it's like Daniel Berger winning. Great job, man. A clutch putt on 18. But if it was Spieth that won, we'd be talking about it a lot more today.
Yeah.
If Hamlin and one or Bubba Wallace wins, we're talking about it a lot more. But there is still something cool. The guy was 100-1 long shot. It's his first ever win. He's been racing for like 14 years on the circuit, and he gets it at the Daytona 500. Isn't that cool? Do we like the Cinderella story?
I think NASCAR needs more like sure things and big names as opposed to the flavor of the week, but just my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny because you go back and forth on it. When someone like this wins, maybe if this happened 2 weeks from now at Homestead, it'd be a little better. You don't want the nobodies to win the biggest race in your sport, but you do want the nobodies to win some race in your sport because 2 months from now we're going to be talking about how dominant Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, guys like that are in the sport. You know, every year we're like, oh, there's a big three. Martin Truex, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. You end up with a big three, and you're like, all right, well, one of these three guys is going to win it. And that's a big problem in motorsports, especially like Formula One, where it's two guys who win every single week. NASCAR isn't quite to that point yet, but you do have the major teams dominating in these intermediate tracks, the 1.5 mile tracks, because they have all the testing and all the ability that goes into it, whereas short tracks, road courses, more skill. The super speedways, all luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we had here in Daytona.
Hey, stick around if you can. I got a question. The last lap at Daytona, where does it rank with other end-of-game moments in sports? I love the question by Coos coming up big on this Valentine's Day weekend.
The PK shootout.
It's got in the doghouse or something. We'll be back at Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Last night at Daytona, Michael McDowell took the checkered flag at the 63rd running of the Daytona 500 after a massive crash that left several cars in flames and others on the track destroyed. Over the weekend, the Houston Texans released one of the faces of their franchise, J.J. Watt. Watt requested to be released, and now the speculation of where he will end up begins. Here's Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and when you speak to people around the league, Tampa Bay literally overnight has become this incredible destination. You have Tom Brady, a chance to win, Bruce Arians, who's going to take care of veterans like a J.J. Watt, no tax, practice on grass, play on grass. J.J. Watt's not nearly the same guy he once was, but 20-25 snaps a game, he may help you get back to the Super Bowl.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Everybody loves selfies, right? It's the way we all like to say, hey, it's me. No pretending, just the real you. Seems like a little thing, but little things mean a lot. Adding a smarter banking account at Community First might seem like a little thing too. But if you want a smart way to move your money around, you know what works for you. So do what's right for you. Community First. Just be yourself. Add an account on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com.
Federally insured by NCUA.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Pro or against? That seems to be the only thing that matters these days in the marijuana discussion. But what about the facts? At Mary, we've taken it upon ourselves to lay it all out there in our podcast. Just pure, unbiased education about medical marijuana and unlawful use of cannabis. Find it at mary.famu.edu. That's mmeri.famu.edu.
Everyone at CGC Water hopes your new year is off to a fantastic start, and CGC Water wants to give you the gift of clean drinking water. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. Now that's clean water. Right now, CGC Water is offering $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. If you're still not filtering your water, you are the filter. Schedule your free water test today and get peace of mind knowing your family's water is safe water. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Remember, this is a limited time offer. $1,000 off a K5 reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Softener. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Beard's Diamond's most exciting offer is back for a limited time.
0% financing for 5 years. Plus, get zero down.
It's the sale smart jewelry shoppers wait for.
You get Beard's already low prices.
But then you get to spread your payments out for 60 months with no money down.
But hurry, this incredible finance opportunity won't last long.
How about a $6,000 Decore or Veragio ring?
You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of $3,000 stud earrings.
You pay just $50 a month.
And every purchase at Beard's Diamonds is backed by our free lifetime warranty.
Now's the time to get her that designer setting she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out for 5 years.
Find your total price by 60, and that's all you'll pay per month.
Don't miss out on the best deal of the year. 0% financing for 5 years. Plus, get zero down on everything in the store.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
DSC.
There are so many razors out there. How do you choose which one's right for you? Well, at Dollar Shave Club, we got you. With a 6-blade cartridge for daily shavers with short hair and a 4-blade cartridge for less frequent shavers with longer hair. Still confused? Well, we put both blades in one new starter box, so you can test drive both. Check out dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, and visit DSE at your nearest store. You've got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
Now at a store near you. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure, we can help you knock that oil change right off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99, plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast, right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you love golf or know somebody who does, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round, plus cart fees with a Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like St. John's Golf and Country Club, Amelia River Golf Club, and Eagle Landing Golf Club. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Hey, this is TV personality Eric Bowling with
NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre.
Get out. The NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre?
Yeah, it depends on if you want money or not, or if I owe you.
Well, okay, I'll take it. We're coming together for a new weekly podcast called Bowling with Favre. From sports to politics to finance, culture, nothing is off limits.
Sounds like a little bit of everything. Subscribe now on the Podcast One app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, livebylive.com, and everywhere you get your favorite podcasts.
See you then.
Hey, boss, check this out. You're never home alone and you're never away from home with Safe Touch.
What now? Never home alone. Now that one I get. It's because of the two-way communicator.
Yep. Any emergency and you're talking with the operator in seconds.
Right. Never home alone. Yeah, but what about this never away from home thing?
See, with Safe Touch's smart home automation, you can control your house from anywhere.
What, is it that smartphone thingy again?
Yeah, with the Safe Touch app, you can check your camera feeds, turn on the lights, drop the AC down, lock the doors. Boss, it's like you're there.
Never away from home. Never home alone, never away from home. This changes nothing. I still hate Safe Touch, and we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. I need an aspirin.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Join the movement to end colon cancer. March to Get Screened is celebrating its 12th year supporting colon cancer awareness and life-saving screenings. Held on March 28th, March to Get Screened is a family affair including a 5K race, a 1-mile fun run, and fun activities for all. Safety measures will be in place, as well as virtual participation options. All proceeds benefit the nonprofit Borland Groover Foundation. Register today, donate, or for more information, head to marchtogetscreened.com. That's marchtogetscreened.com.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you get a call from a top NBA player who was injured in a car crash by a drunk driver and faces a career-ending injury, you know you must bring your A game. And you also feel that your reputation as the largest injury firm with hundreds and hundreds of verdicts and billions in recoveries for our clients has been recognized. Results matter, reputation matters, choices matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com. Dial pound law on your cell. Offices, Jackson.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lacey. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Lakers star Anthony Davis will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks after suffering a calf strain. An MRI today revealed an aggravation near his Achilles. He'll be on a conservative return to play schedule, perhaps sometime after the All-Star break. The Pistons and forward Blake Griffin have agreed he'll be held out of the lineup until the franchise and his reps work through a resolution of his playing future. Won't likely be a market for Griffin via trade, but there should be following a buyout, explains Woj.
He's a player who, while he doesn't play above the rim anymore, he's not the all-NBA Blake Griffin that people remember. You know, he still has shown this season, you know, to be a pretty efficient offensive player. He's shooting. You see him obviously stepping out, shooting the three. Played a back-to-back last week and played well.
The Hillsborough County, Florida Sheriff's Office says it's investigating the death of former NFL receiver Vincent Jackson. The 38-year-old was found dead this morning in a hotel room. Police say there were no apparent signs of trauma.
This President's Day, Dell honors all you do with up to $300 off their latest tech, like XPS and Alienware systems with Intel Core processors and top electronics. Plus, free shipping on everything. Call 800-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/President's Day. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Keselowski's in line. Now he turns him. Both Team Penske cars crash. Keselowski is up in a ball of flame, up into the outside wall. He'll take Kyle Busch with him. Everybody now racing off the corner in a horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
Caution is on the speedway. Caution is on the speedway. We'll wait and see who was the race leader when the caution flag came out. Keep in mind, they have it frozen. As soon as the caution flag comes out, scoring freezes.
And that's how it goes down, and that's why it was hard to tell who won, because we don't know, if you're there especially, and even it took a little bit for the TV cameras to catch up on that front, because Chase Elliott was pretty close. I think I heard Chase Elliott say, I knew right away McDowell had won. He was ahead.
When they're in the car, they can see when, the caution lights come up on the
right
track.
Away.
And a lot of people are upset that they didn't let him race back to the start-finish line. That's the way NASCAR used to do it.
Yep.
But there are rules in NASCAR where safety cars can't go onto the track to help people in a wreck until the caution light comes on. So usually, if it was just a normal wreck behind them, they would let them finish because it's behind them. They're doing only one lap. They're going to be done. They're not going to get to them again. But because you saw the fireball, you saw a car go airborne, they deemed it, worthy of throwing the caution to get the safety people out there as quick as possible.
You can really tell. You could tell in the broadcast alone, I think, at least from my vantage point. And again, we're at the tracks, so we're watching on TVs, and we're listening as well, like outside. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know exactly what's being on TV and what's
an
not.
Interesting perspective there, yeah.
You could almost tell, coming off the Ryan Newman crash from last year, on the 20th year anniversary of Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s passing, that the TV was doing everything they could to, one, not show replays, double check, even maybe more importantly than announcing Michael McDowell being the winner, that Keselowski and Kyle Busch were okay out of their cars type of things. You can really tell that there've been some meetings saying, hey, we want to alert the fan, right? Because keep in mind, last year with Ryan Newman, we were there.
Yeah.
And we didn't know when we got off the air what was up with Ryan Newman. Now, I'm not saying you will always know,
right?
But we had no update. Like,
none.
In fact, I think I remember waking up the next morning and still not having an update on Ryan Newman.
We knew he'd gone to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then we got critical.
And that was it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they tried to do their best to say, hey, everybody's okay. We're not going to show this replay just in case until everybody's okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll also figure out the winner, but that's not the most important thing right now. Let's make sure everybody's okay. So, and that's okay. I'm not saying here nor there. It's an observation that I just thought it felt like it was more of a focal point in their broadcast than maybe it normally even is.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is now 2 years running where, I'm behind the lens following the finish of the race, and both times I've been following the winner to the end of the race, and kind of in the peripheral is where I saw everything else happening.
Yeah.
Last year, obviously, with the Newman wreck, it happens as you see Hamlin taking off towards the start-finish line, and you see the flying and the kind of off to the side. And then this one, you just see the split, and then I followed the 34 as it kept going forward, thinking, hey, this is the race to the flag. We're going to have to follow this thing. So it's interesting how that works sometimes.
Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jack, Stuart Weber with us too, our NASCAR guru. He was there along with me at Daytona yesterday. A long day it was. Michael McDowell, the Daytona 500 winner. All right,
long enough, by the way, to go get fast food.
Yes, we
did. During the break. We talked about this a second ago during the break.
Where'd you guys go?
We went to Culver's.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's a Wisconsin thing.
Yeah.
Get one of those butter burgers.
Yeah, they got them popping up all over now. But we made this was actually Weber, made a calculated decision.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I do want to give a weather update. It's
raining.
Significant and severe weather in the area. Depending on where you are, in Baker County just got a tornado warning. Is that right, Weber? You see
warning means there's one on the ground.
Yeah. So
watch means it can
watch
develop.
is in the entire area until 10 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there are warnings popping up around the area. Not in Duval as of yet, but I think in St. Johns County there was one in the last hour. Putnam County, also Columbia County, and now Baker County. So that'll tell you it's a very active cell going on out there right now. 104.5 FM, the place to go for your latest on the weather updates on the radio side, TV-wise. CBS 47 and Fox 30 on the air right now with Mike Borish, First Alert Chief Meteorologist, and the weather team. So to get your latest, stay safe out there. There's some nasty, nasty weather on your drive home from work right now. But yeah, Stuart put together this plan. We had sat through a huge rain delay, and we're now like 4 or 5 hours into the delay. We got a little bit of a break in the rain, and so we said, all right.
And it was dark out.
It was dark out.
We have television.
So what we're thinking here, we're like, okay, the race is going to get called. It's going to be Monday.
Sure.
And so we said, let's go tape our stuff. We would have taped it either way. So let's tape our stuff for the show, Action Sports Jack's Primetime. And with the races canceled, we'll see you Monday. Angle, this is what happened today. We did it. Did 3 different things, ready to roll. And then we said, all right, we'll go to Culver's.
Oh, yeah.
Which is up and exit, essentially, from Daytona on the way home.
Too.
And and when they call the race, we'll already be out of there and on our way home, baby. It's a smart plan.
Sure.
And those sons of guns wanted to get that race in primetime last night.
And it stopped raining.
And it did stop raining.
And
the window.
Everything cleared out. That was over by Lakeland. That was a threatening cell that just, dissipated. And we were good to go.
And in hindsight now, there was no problem. We went back to the track, finished it off. It was kind of a long night, but that's okay.
Well, you're professionals. That's what you sign up for.
But in hindsight, we're glad there wasn't a Monday because look what's going on.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been fun.
We would have been doing it all over again. And I think that was a big part of the reason they tried to get it in because they knew the forecast was iffy today and even tomorrow. And I don't know. I mean, they're at Daytona all week, but still, I don't want to run the Daytona on Wednesday.
Sort of at Daytona all week, yes.
So, hey, anyway, Steph was watching that last lap. Ty watches it this morning. He's asked me all these questions. These guys don't watch NASCAR much, once in a while. But that's kind of race Daytona 500 is, right?
We're here for
makes you watch. Well, they're like just locked in on that last lap, the crash, and they're like, oh my gosh, how do they survive? Like all these questions, right? The questions that everybody's been asking for years, but they're asking them. And Kuz comes up with this great point. It's like, you anticipate the last lap at Daytona, the Daytona 500, and some of the other speedways, to be fair, but Daytona in this instance. You know something's going down. Like, you are disappointed if cars aren't crashing at the finish line. And the anticipation of that is pretty wild. again, I'm a very casual NASCAR guy, but I anticipate that. Like, that's what you hang around for. You know what's coming. And you don't know how many cars are flying and how much it's going to upset the line of cars. Logano, is it going to be that 12th place guy that comes in and cleans up the mess because he got through everything? You just have no idea. And I think that's cool in sports, right? When you have no idea, that's a pretty good thing in sports.
You like that, yeah. Where
does it rank? Like, I put on this list, is it up there with some of these things in sports that we love at the finish? The 2-minute drill at the end of a game when the game's in the balance? The final possession, a buzzer beater potentially in basketball, March Madness, or the NBA with a lot of significance. Overtime hockey in the playoffs potentially, which a lot of people would crown the top of any list.
Oh, yeah. It is, but you don't know how long that's going to last.
True. Yeah. It's true.
Which is part of the fun for me. I love it when they go like three, 4 OTs.
And playoff hockey too, man. It's like you can't beat that.
How about a walk-off home run, or in extra innings in that kind of situation, 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded, something like that. It doesn't even have to be a home run, really. It can be the home run.
Walk-off, yeah.
I do think in this kind of conversation, I know horse racing isn't big, but neither is NASCAR to the masses anymore. But the Kentucky Derby is one of those where everybody tries to tune in, it feels like, for those 2 minutes. You might not watch 6 hours of coverage, but you tune in for those 2 minutes. I mean, is it on par with those kind of things? I mean, is that what the Daytona 500 and the last couple of laps are like?
I'll throw in, the world's biggest sport and the sport of soccer and the penalty kick shootout.
Good point.
But the thing about like a penalty kick shootout or a walk-off or a 2-minute drill, all these things, you don't know if you're going to have the opportunity to even get those things.
True.
NASCAR, you're going to have the last lap no matter what.
That's a good point.
It's coming.
You know it is. Like, we went there at 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and we knew if they raced, and even when after they went to the delay and there were 16 cars in that one crash, we knew even if the race was boring from here on out, we're getting a last lap situation at some point. I guess the only way you really don't know is if after 100 laps, rain comes and they call the race.
Yep.
That's like the only thing that can upset that. That's a really good point. Like, you anticipate it. Well, in this case, you anticipate it for about 14 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a cricket match. Yeah.
But it probably doesn't do anything for you.
What's that, the NASCAR?
Yeah. Even the final, I mean, you're not locked in. You're in bed.
No, I mean, truth be told, I was actually watching some of the race, but then NXT TakeOver was going on, so Stuart,
there you go.
You can relate to it. I didn't see it.
Yeah. And you never know who's going to win in that.
Hey, all I'm going to say is, did you see Adam Cole turning heel last night when he kicked Kyle O'Reilly in the face? Nobody saw that coming.
I was watching sports. Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. Hey, in case you didn't know, it was the #1 trending thing last night on Twitter was Adam Cole. So take it for how you want.
All right.
Take it for how you want.
Now, but you will watch a walk-off home run. You'll watch some playoff baseball. You'll watch football, obviously. You like playoff hockey.
Yes.
I don't think you tune into the Derby ever.
The Kentucky Derby?
Yeah. So that doesn't do anything for you.
Not really, no.
Here's the other side of it, though, is in terms of social media, which one's the one that people are going to go click on and look at the most? Like a buzzer beater. They're all like quick
good call,
social media.
Especially in today's age, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's a big part
show
of it.
Right now, I like it. It's a good question. It's a good question. Like, what do you think it's the most shareable stuff?
Like, personally, that's why I think, like, an NBA buzzer beater is so big on social media. Maybe not necessarily in this conversation we're having, but on Twitter the next morning, you can go and watch every single buzzer beater that happened. The Dame Lillard one that just happened, Luka missed it. They show those, I
think I'm going to bring it back to kind of what Stuart was saying, though. One, it's coming because you don't know that at the end of a game. And two, it's so unique. I mean, in the racing season, especially Daytona 500 is such, they call it the Super Bowl racing for a reason. It happens once. So it's once. The buzzer beater in college basketball and the NBA happen 140 times a year. Now, some are better than others, but they happen quite a bit. Like, you're not going to go to bed every night in a week without seeing a buzzer beater, right? I mean, that's not going to happen. Same thing kind of with the college football and the NFL. I mean, you see an ending. Now, some more crazier than others, but you see an ending almost all the time. I would say the unique nature of that's a good question from a clickable standpoint. I do think even like that Ryan Newman crash last year, I don't know where it ranks on the clickables, but I got to believe partially because of the unknown. I understand the opportunity for that, but that was such a wild ride. Yeah. That I think everybody, you don't have to be a NASCAR fan, you don't have to be a race fan, you don't have to be a sports fan. The wow factor in that is just off the charts.
There's a reason people rubberneck at wrecks on the highway.
It's true.
Well, and even look at the photo that came out, from the last lap, last night. We put it up on our social media because it's like there's flames and sparks, and I mean that you don't get that with really other sports.
If you're talking about that clickable highlight, I'm going to click over to Austin sport, and that's mixed martial arts. The knockout in MMA, maybe for someone who doesn't want to sit through 15 or 25 minutes of a fight,
or doesn't even understand
or
it
doesn't
that much.
Well, that's the thing, is that maybe they won't get the mental side of MMA and watching that develop in a fight. They sure as heck will get a dude getting hit on the button and hit the canvas.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Usman, like the first round of that fight, like I saw some of the highlights. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the highlights.
Yep.
I was like, holy cow, give me 5 more rounds of this.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Was it a 3-round fight? Or
it would have been 4.
I mean, 4 more rounds. Yeah.
So this got posted in 2020, and it's the most clickable/watched highlight according to CNN.
Okay. Is it Randy Johnson hitting a bird?
No, I mean it's from the sport event in 2019. And I'll tell you right now, you guys are never going to get it.
We're never going to get it.
You're never going to get it.
Well, listen, if it's on, is Weber, like, is it darts or something? Because Weber watches darts all the time.
No, keep in mind, this is the most popular sports clip highlight video of 2019. And you guys aren't going to get it.
I'm going to say it's something from the X Games.
No. Nope.
Oh, boy.
And to tell you the truth, it's funny that this got brought up. This was when we did our Stay in Your Lane. I think this was my very first Stay in Your Lane.
Very first?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was. It was like one of the very first videos I shared about this show.
No, this wasn't the local, what's her name, the soccer player? No?
No, it's a highlight. It's like
okay.
This person is performing, well, their team or this person in general, singular. Could be
the Red Bull thing.
It could be a team or a singular person perform this thing. No, it's not. Not a Red Bull thing.
I have no idea. I don't know what it's going to be.
It's like a Travis Pastrana thing.
If you guys think about it, it makes sense.
It's going to be January or February of 2019.
Let me see if I can look that up.
Well, how early did you start Staying in Your Lane? I guess you didn't start that right at the beginning of the radio show.
All right, fine. We're not going to get it.
All right, come on.
It's not a major sport is what you're getting at.
Correct.
Some can consider it. You can win a gold medal in it. By the way, this video, when it came out in a week, was shared over 102,000 times with over 20 million views.
The surfing?
No.
That's the X. I mean, not the X game, but the like the half pipe type.
No.
Not White there. What's his name?
Shaun White. Shaun White. Nope.
Some skiing crash.
Nope.
All right, go give it to us.
Caitlin Owashi, UCLA gymnastics.
The floor routine?
Yes.
The
most, according to CNN now.
Really?
I mean, take it for what you want, but it was the most watched sports clip of 2019, and it was reported last year in 2020.
I remember you. Now, remind everybody why was it?
So,
because I honestly forget. I remember you discussing it. Now I can't even remember.
So it was a perfect 10. And those don't really happen that much in gymnastics, but it was like she incorporated a bunch of like modern music into it because traditionally floor routines are kind of like classical and stuff. Yeah. And this girl's story is that she was on the Olympic team. I guess there was a discrepancy with her weight. So she chose to walk away because she got into a big depression, went to UCLA, and then obviously put on for the Bruins gymnastics team. So it was kind of like her coming back party on the floor.
So it's a combination of story, comeback, and also unbelievable routine and style.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed it, right?
I know, right?
Nobody.
But people like a good story.
By the way, local segue, Florida Gators, #1 team in the country, beat #2 LSU on Friday in gymnastics with the nation's highest score this year. Trinity Thomas, I believe is her last name, had a perfect 10 as well as 3 other routines that were like a 9.95 and higher.
Well, no, this is surprising, Stuart, because obviously Florida's really good on the balance beam. So, like, what did you see when you watch this thing? If you want to get into it, I'm kidding.
Well, they did one on a floor.
That was a joke.
One on a horse, one on a jump, one on a
I thought we were about to go down in this rabbit hole of gymnastics.
I don't know if I was ready to go there.
I will say gymnastics was my favorite sport to cover when I was in college, because every athlete was shorter than me. And it was glorious.
Just towering over all the athletes.
Every one of them was shorter than me.
I hear you.
It's a lot better than having 6'11" Joakim Noah and me craning my back to have to get a camera up into his face, and Al Horford.
It's all about Weber at the end of the day.
It is all about his image. You got to protect his image, man.
Tell you what, man.
Yeah.
How about that? By the way, you can hear Florida State versus Virginia tonight here on ESPN 690.
Gymnastics?
A little bit of live local loud. This is basketball. Live local loud coming up at 6 for a bit, and then hand off to Florida State and Virginia. So a good hoop game on your official Florida State stations here in Jacksonville for football and basketball, ESPN 690. Will, let's go some quick hitters. Usman fight, we said it.
Yeah.
How good, was it? Were you surprised at all?
It was super impressive. I was very surprised. I thought that he could definitely get the win easily, but the way that he did it, in the fashion that he did it with his striking and not so much his grinding out pace, was more of his power. And listen, it was a jab. Like, he didn't do anything special. I mean, okay, yeah, he did something special. He knocked the dude out, but he did it with his jab. Literally the most common punch, literally the very first punch that you learn in striking is the jab, and he utilized that better than I've seen a lot of guys utilize it lately. So yeah, I mean, it was a shocker from how he got the job done, and now comes the question, what's next for him, because he's kind of ran through the entire division. Called out Jorge Masvidal again, so get ready, because you're gonna have your video on the radio rope pop up again for a second time. Can't wait to see that one.
So Burns, I mean, did you think for a minute when you were watching that fight, you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to beat him?
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I thought Burns was going to win. If you would have asked me who I thought was going to win the fight, I had Burns. Yeah.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, I thought Burns had more power. I thought he had a better skill set in terms of, like, listen, they can both wrestle. I think Burns is the more decorated jiu-jitsu guy. I think he's got more power. Striking is about even. So I figured there's more way for Burns to win that fight than Usman. And if you go back to the first round, Burns actually catches Usman and kind of rocks him a little bit, right? Usman obviously, yeah. And Joe Rogan always says this, and sometimes I'm kind of like, all right, Joey, but Joe Rogan says that he's mentally the toughest fighter in the entire UFC, in Kamaru Usman. And I think we saw that if you watch that fight on Saturday, where, yeah, he was mentally tough. He kind of came through the storm a little bit and then put out the storm of his own.
I will say this. I don't buy the fight.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
don't say you, I mean.
I watched it, though.
Careful. Yeah, you guys both careful now.
No, I don't. I don't watch it in that sense. I don't buy it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, but watch out. That's Drew Wilmer. But I do kind of sit there at that time of night when I know it's coming on, and I kind of wait. I like refresh my Twitter nonstop to wait for the next highlight.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Like I really do. Like I know that's coming too. That's part of the reason probably I don't buy it, because I know it's happening soon.
Yeah.
But I get into those fights like that. So what's the next one?
No, so the next one, as far as like the pay-per-view is concerned, or is the next fight in general?
Well, what's the next fight I'm going to want to watch? Is there something coming up or no?
Stipe got a fight coming up?
That one's a little ways away. The next fight coming up is going to be Derek Lewis, who's probably the biggest character in the UFC. This is the guy that said that his so-and-so were hot when he was in the cage. Remember that story?
Yes,
yeah, okay. I can't really say what he said, but he said his so-and-so was hot, and then he proceeded to take off his MMA shorts and just kind of walk around in his briefs. So he's taking
what I do before the show.
Yeah, he's taking on a guy by the name of Curtis Blades. But the next big fight, Brent, the next pay-per-view, that's going to be Stylebender taking on Jan Blachowicz. And it's actually going to be the card is going to feature 3 title fights. So it'll be Amanda Nunes, you know who she is, taking on Megan Anderson, and then Peter Yan taking on Aljamain Sterling. So it'll be 3 title fights in one card.
All right, I got to ask you about this, man.
Hit me with it.
Ariel Helwani, Dana White, Gina Carano.
Yeah.
If you don't know the story, Carano had insensitive Holocaust remarks.
Fired from The Mandalorian for them.
Yes. Ariel Helwani, ESPN reporter. We've had on the show before.
Yeah.
Does a lot for MMA with ESPN.
Yeah.
Fired back, right? Was critical.
Well, yeah. And listen,
and rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, as a Jewish man, like, yeah, by all means, fire back. Please do.
And then Dana White defended Carano.
Yeah. Who's a former MMA fighter.
And I can't, now actress.
No, actress, yeah.
And I can't really, I don't think I'm allowed to say this word on the radio, what White called Helwani.
Oh, yeah,
but they always have had a back and forth anyway, right?
No, listen, they've always had a back and forth because Dana White actually banned for a while Ariel Helwani from coming to events because over some things that he said. I guess like he leaked out something. Dana White got upset, and then he was banned for a while. Yeah, like listen, that's who Dana White is, right? Like he doesn't really care what you think. At the same time, though, like in terms of like sports reporters and MMA, I mean, Ariel Helwani is probably the biggest, right? And listen, I respect Dana White for what he's done. Obviously, he's got a take no nonsense kind of attitude. He does what he wants, and guess what? He's been successful with it. Look what he did during the pandemic. All right, when everybody else was closed down, the UFC was still doing their thing. But I thought it was a little harsh towards Ariel Helwani, and I guess people have spoken out. But that's the thing, Brent. Like MMA fighters want to support Ariel Helwani, right? They want to have his back. But let's be honest. I think a lot of them are scared because Dana White's the main man. If you upset Dana White, there's no telling what could happen to you.
Well,
so.
and that's what. Listen, that's where I was going to go with it. It's really tough. That's an Dana White has. We talked about this earlier in the show in a different I don't even want to mention names because it's different context. But everybody needs checks and balances.
No.
And Dana White's a guy who really doesn't have anybody. Like, there's nobody to check him.
Yeah.
And even the fighters can't check him because he kind of rules what they do next.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, it's a dangerous kind of slippery slope in that sense. And good for Helwani has some folks, backing him.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to stop Dana White.
No, listen, it's not going to, because you know why? There's no union, man. All right? All these fighters are private contractors, and they're just trying to make a living for their families. And I don't think anyone's going to stand up to Dana White like that, which they probably shouldn't.
Can you have long-term success in the sport, though, if it's, for lack of a better word, a dictatorship with somebody leading it?
It's worked so far, Brent. He's done it for a while, and it's worked so far. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, unless a union comes around, I think he's going to be successful.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's a union, but more the rights of the fighters, right? Somebody that comes. I think about it. Again, that's going to sound bad, so excuse the comparisons that are jumping into my mind because all these situations aren't exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mix that up.
Yeah.
But it's like what Tony Khan has started with AEW. Part of the reason started it and has been successful is because I think treats wrestlers better.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that kind of the story?
Absolutely.
And so could somebody come along and do that to the MMA?
Well, they kind of do. Like Bellator is there.
Bellator
but
is
it's
known
still,
for that?
It is, but it would be like, in my opinion, the UFC is like the NFL. Bellator is like the minor league of the NFL. And it's still, you can get a lot of money if you want to be a prize fighter, but it's UFC's king right
MMA's
now.
king.
MMA's king, yeah.
And a relationship with ESPN.
Yeah, but also another big
right?
thing in this MMA social media real quick. So Cub Swanson, a very respected, a very, one of the pioneers of MMA, put this out on Twitter. I think all MMA media should be required to have 3 amateur fights to cover it. Thoughts? And this started a backlash of MMA journalists coming out and saying why he's wrong and stuff like that. Wow. I thought it was interesting from Cub Swanson.
I think you should raise your hand and say, I agree.
I didn't want to stir up any waves, man.
Hey,
I don't want to stir up any waves.
I'm in. I'm qualified.
Sold. Let's do it.
I'll see you on ESPN Saturday night.
Stephen A. Smith, better watch out.
We'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0-interest financing with nothing down.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks or Us training helpline. Today we're explaining the term verified alarm to all you newbies out there.
Oh, boss, I can explain that. A verified alarm just means that whatever caused the security system alarm to go off has been verified.
Correct. And what alarm company is known for providing the fastest verified alarms?
Safe Touch Security.
Exactly. Because Safe Touch has the two-way communicator, which leads to alarm verification within seconds.
And alarm verification is very bad for us crooks.
Yeah, unlike a non-verified alarm that police label a low priority.
Like right below getting Grandma's cat out of a tree low.
So, to sum up, verified alarms. Just one more reason we crooks have the golden rule, stay away from Safe Touch houses. Remember that, and you'll be fine.
Here, kitty.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, do you owe more than $25,000 on your car, a truck, or that toy in the driveway? Refinance your auto loan with One-to-One Financial. We'll not only lower your payments, but we'll put $200 cash in your pocket. Plus, we have the lowest loan rates in town. Make some room in your budget and put more cash in your pocket. When you refinance with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Apply today at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
If you love golf, you need to get this deal. 8 rounds of golf for less than $12 per round plus card fees with the Dream 18 golf card at great area golf courses like Queens Harbor Yacht and Country Club, Fleming Island Golf Club, and 6 others. And this isn't just a golf card. Get a free shirt from Baker Sports, a free hat at Dome Hats, and a free smoothie from Smoothie King, plus 15% off any purchase at Palm Beach Autographs. Go to ESPN690.com to purchase the Dream 18 card for $95. Hundreds of dollars in savings and the perfect gift.
I'm Action News Jax Tanika Hughes, and one of the great things about living in Jacksonville is our diverse communities. It's so important that the local stories we cover in our newscasts reflect the people who live here. That's why we've launched Action News Jax Gets Real, to get real on issues like racism, housing challenges, and unequal access to health care. It's having difficult conversations, as well as celebrating people making a difference. This is Action News Jax Gets Real. Real talk, real change.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you seen it? I'm talking about the all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota, where they're celebrating with savings all month long. What are you waiting for? Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 Corolla LE or a new 2021 Camry LE. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $249 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. Celebrate with savings and come see the new showroom at Arlington Toyota today. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/February for full details.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Hi, I'm Larry Self, owner of The Casket Store. For the past 20 years, we've been helping people create the perfect cemetery headstone. Our process is simple, no pressure, and our prices are surprisingly low. We install headstones, bronze markers, and upright monuments in any cemetery in the Southeast. We also offer bronze plaques for churches and schools. For more information and to see our work, please visit us at thecasketstore.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's fascinating. Every day as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them, ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau. But man, when you hit, what is that button you used to hit, like the X button to accelerate?
Austin Lane. I haven't played Madden in like 10 years. Sorry to let you down there.
That was a major letdown.
Yeah.
I mean,
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
He definitely dropped the ball, and that's a price that was going to be paid. And I think to some degree it's still a price that's going to be paid, because when these guys get in front of him, I think they are going to confront him about why he would make this decision, particularly without consulting anybody, and think that that was okay, specifically in regards to the times that we're living in, what we've just finished enduring over all of these months, how our society is supposed to be woke now more than ever before, and yet Urban Meyer still came out and behaved in a way that was indicative of some of the problems that black folks have been complaining about for decades. And that's unilateral decisions being made, clearly involving double standards, et cetera, and that, you know what, you're just going to have to trust us. No, that's not the society that we're living in right now, and trust is not something that you're just going to be given by players. It's something that you're going to have to earn, and I think Urban Meyer took a step back in this direction.
That is Stephen A. Smith. Listen, there's no other way to say it. I mean, it's just bad. It was a bad 72 hours for the Jags. And I do want to ask this real quick about that. I don't think I got to this part. Is it done? I mean, like, what are the ramifications now that it's over? However we got to now, it's over, okay? We can sit here. They've been lambasted. They got beat up for it. You know, whether it's right or wrong to go back, I think most people are glad that they went back on it. I think that was the temperature I took and said, okay, Chris Doyle's not going to be with him. So now what? I mean, now is that it? I mean, are there any leftovers from this?
I wouldn't per se say like leftovers. I feel like, we haven't got the player's opinion yet. I'm not sure if that would ever come out, but the player's opinion could offer like another perspective of going forward. But I think for the most part now, the story maybe has ran its course. I think people will still kind of keep in the light a little bit. But it's like I said, I mean, they let him go, right? So now, was it the right thing to do? In my opinion, yes. The fact he still brought him on, though, I mean, listen, it was as bad optics and it was bad an outlook from you. But now that they've moved on, and I think eventually, I think the national media will move on. And I think it's not going to be a story until it's a story again. Once, like I said, if a player comes out and says something, then we're back to square one again.
Yeah, well,
which could very well happen.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows?
They might say something, but I mean, I don't know what there is to say. When we talk to a player in 2 months, say it is, or a month, or whatever it is, we're going to be like, hey, what do you think about the Jags hiring and then firing? Like, there's really not – I don't know if there's a lot of substance left to that question. If we had Josh Allen on today, what do you think about this whole situation 72 hours ago?
But, Brent, you can see how this is going to go, though. And I don't think it's not going to come from us, but someone could ask, hey, what did you think about Urban Meyer bringing on, this guy from Iowa? And that the player truly speaks his mind and says, I think it was dumb, or do you trust Urban Meyer after that?
Maybe there's a question
There's some verbiage up there that can really bring this thing to a head still and really make some headlines here. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying we still haven't heard the player's perspective.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. I think now, here's what I think changes. I don't really think it's the outside that changes. I think what happens is the inside changes. I think the Jags' ears are up. I think the Jags internally, Urban Meyer, his staff. Maybe it's the PR staff. Again, I'm just looping everybody in. I'm going to put the Jags, okay? From top down, they now double check and vet and discuss every move they make. What does it look like? Especially one with any level of controversy. If they are going to bring a player in, keep in mind now, the Jags brought players in last year with some questionable backgrounds.
Sure.
They were a fullback, and shoot, who else was it? I thought there were two guys with some questionable things.
Well, didn't Gotsis get in trouble at UCF?
Okay, I think it was it Gotsis?
I don't want to put him. I shouldn't have said that. Hang on, man. Let me just.
But it's okay. Either way,
let me just check it.
Well, you can
quick,
correct
man.
the Gotsis part. But my point is, they brought some folks in.
Yeah.
That had some checkered pasts.
Correct.
And that could still happen with players, is my point. You can bring in players that have checkered pasts. Will that raise a flag? Will that raise questions? Will that spark some interest? Will be something to watch.
I couldn't find anything off the top of my head, but okay, yeah. So he was arrested on a pretty serious sexual assault charge. I'm not sure whatever
back in college.
Became that back in college.
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
I think you're. I thought you were right on that.
Yeah, but I don't want to put someone's name out there if it's not true. Obviously.
But, okay. The riddle on Twitter today.
I mean, this should open the show, to tell you the truth, but it's okay, though. I mean,
well, you opened the show.
I did, and I said I'm going to wait for you to get here just to make sure I could open it with it, but then we went down some other rabbit hole.
So what is going on? And listen, I'm a bad jersey guy, uniform guy.
Sure.
I'm like, come on now. I mean, what is the primary color? What should the primary color be? Is I just put on our feed, blank is primary.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank, Austin Lane.
Yes,
What is the Jags' primary color going to be?
It's going to be teal, Brent. the correct answer we're looking for is teal. So go ahead and go daily double, and I'll take that as well.
Maybe Kuz has one of those sound
That's
effects,
all right,
but
man.
I don't have that in my repertoire.
I can just do it myself. Yeah, it's close
Sounds
enough.
like me playing Pac-Man.
Yeah, you new high score lately, or what's up? No, I'm saying, did you get new high score lately?
I have. I'm up to 92,000.
I mean, I guess that's good.
That's pretty good.
I feel like a real baller could over 200,000. But
if I get 6 figures, you'll know on Twitter. Don't worry.
I can't wait. All right. So anyway, this morning I noticed that the official Jacksonville Jaguars Twitter, which they don't follow me. It's not a big deal though. It's not like I played for you guys, but it's okay. I obviously follow them, and they released this interesting. Well, what would you describe it? It looks like an album cover, right? And it's
parental advisory.
Yeah, well, it says parental advisory Duval content, but it looks like an album cover.
That's the image.
That's the image.
What did the text say?
And I saw that and said, "You already know." And I saw that, I'm like, interesting. I didn't really think too much of it. And then all of a sudden they kept on releasing these album covers. The next one was Colin Johnson with the one-handed grab in training camp, and it said "Rise." And then there was another album cover, and then it was Against All Odds with Miles Jack in the next one. And now I'm starting to become a little peculiar. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Because I looked it up. It's not National Album Cover Day or anything like that. So I'm like, what is? And then I kind of Google the NFL teams. Like, I Google the Packers. Are the Packers doing this album cover? No. Are the Texans? Well, no. They're a dumpster fire. They have other things to worry about right now besides album covers. So I noticed that Jacksonville is the only team that is doing this. And then all of a sudden they made the classic mistake, Brent. And this is where I caught on. They released one with Dwayne Smoot. Now, we're big Dwayne Smoot guys, right? We like him.
Smoot's good.
But let's be honest. He's a free agent. And they released one that said, "It's Smoot Gang." And it's and then hashtag Smoot Gang. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why don't you just put hashtag Smoot Gang? What do you mean, it's Smoot Gang? Like, to me, that just kind of like a double negative. Didn't make much sense at all, right? So I click on the picture, and obviously it's another album cover. I'm like, okay, so something's happening right now. And it just so happened, at this exact moment, Brent, I'm watching, and this is way past your jurisdiction, but I'm watching an anime called Full Metal Alchemist. And then in this anime, they speak in code. And they're in the military, they speak in code. And all of a sudden, like the way they're speaking code, I'm like, I wonder if Jacksonville here is trying to tell us something without really trying to tell us something, because these pictures make no sense. Posting Dwayne Smoot, who's a free agent right now, who's not officially on your roster, doesn't make any sense. What does this mean? And then I think back to, and you might have heard of this guy before. I'm not sure. This guy's name's Dilla. You know him?
I've heard of him.
Heard of him, right? Yeah, he's kind of big on Twitter and stuff. Okay, well, so is it 1-star review for you?
Yeah.
It's wouldn't recommend from Brett Martin, a 1 star.
You could do social media reviews.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Still don't have a hat.
So a 1 star from Brent Martineau. Yeah, by the way, yours cover photo in case you didn't notice on Twitter. Hope you're proud of yourself. And I remember what he did. And he would basically tweet out these random things, these cryptic tweets. And then if you connected the first word in each of those tweets, they spelled out something. So lo and behold, I go to Dwayne Smoot and I see, okay, so we got I, we got M, we got A, we got R, and we got Y. Starting to look like primary. Well, then what do they do next? They release another one with the R, and then they really try to cover it up with the personal update. Senior personnel executive Tom Gamble and director of player assessment Ryan Stamper have joined our staff.
That was actual news.
Breaking news.
Personnel update.
Tom Gamble.
They threw
Ryan
the P in there.
Stamper? What are you talking about? That's a Dilly Double. That's it right there.
That was good.
Just
That
nailed it.
actually sounded like that shooting. What's the shooting game? Not Pac-Man. It's usually on the same thing though.
I mean, I'm only 33 years old.
The
Brent, so help me
asteroid
out.
stuff.
Asteroid?
Asteroid.
Asteroid?
Yeah.
Oh, asteroid.
There you go.
We'll go with it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where you shoot stuff and they're coming after you.
Yeah.
You got the guy at the bottom of the screen and you can move it.
I felt like there's like 50 of those games
Yeah,
though, like
probably.
where you're shooting from the bottom of the screen, blowing stuff up. So listen. So primary was the word then, and now all of a sudden
they released it backwards, right?
Oh, there was Well, come on, Brent, you got to
That's
release
good.
it backwards because listen, the way you read it is you have to read it straight
Straight
down.
down.
Now
Good
you
call.
try to release one today on our show,
I know,
and
I messed
obviously
it up.
that backfired, right? Because and I knew you were gonna mess it up. I didn't want to say anything.
I
let
told
you have your fun.
Listen, I told. So I was just putting ASJAX.
Yeah.
But I forgot. I capitalized Trevor.
Yeah. So
I'll be honest, though. I think
Goose didn't get it anyway.
Well, when you said don't capitalize March Madness, I took both M's and put them down. So I might have even messed it up more.
No, both M's should have come down, but so should have Trevor. And then the only capital letters would have been ASJAX.
Hey, you know what, Brent? Code's not for everybody, man, all right? Leave this to the experts, all right? Leave this to the professionals,
I
right?
tried.
This is why Dylan's got a hat and you don't. Anyways, in the past 2 hours now, Brent, and taking place 25 minutes ago, they released another cryptic message, this time with DJ Chark, and now we got Miles Jack again. And the first one says, it's up there and it's stuck there. DJ Chark catching a ball against the Chicago Bears. And then we got Stay Hungry. Miles Jack, is. So now we got is primary. So it begs the question, fill in the blank. What is primary? It's got to be teal.
Black.
Listen, if it's really going to be black as primary, I'm not going to lie, I'm putting my transfer papers in. Like, if you're really going to tease me as a franchise that I cover and you're going to put black as primary because we've had black as primary for a while now, I'm leaving. It's going to be teal as primary. Teal is going to be the primary color for your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Will that fire people up?
R.I.P. to Alex Trebek. Yeah, I think so. I think that, listen, we always talk about how teal is so important to this franchise, right? It's what we identify with. I think making it a primary color is only going to get people excited.
I don't think that would mean like uniform change or anything like that. They've got teal.
No, I don't think uniform change per se, but I think in terms of you see the teal jerseys a lot more than you have in the past.
Yeah.
I think, right? Because there's not a limit. You can wear it.
Well, there's some rules. I'm so bad at this. Really
Mustard is primary.
Mustard is primary.
Mustard is primary? Question mark?
Oh, boy.
That would be outstanding.
Hey, you want to talk about a week of bad optics? Go and put mustard as primary and see what happens.
Listen, hey, Meyer isn't going for that. The M is silent, remember.
Can you imagine that the next tweet that comes out from Jacksonville? Do you see what we're doing? And it's like the D? Well, what other color's got the D in it? We're talking about the mustard.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. But if your primary uniform, you're going to wear that most likely more often than not.
Yeah.
And then you can have your special days, but there are maximum. You can wear certain uniform combinations a maximum amount, I believe, right?
Yeah. I just think that the jersey is going to be teal, and then the trousers in honor of Brian O'Halloran, I believe, right?
Trousers, yes.
I think the trousers could be
former
up for
friend
debate.
of the show.
Oh, sorry, former friend. We had him calling a couple times, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, okay. You guys okay? Hey, you guys all right?
I guess. Yeah.
What's up? You want to talk about? Okay.
We haven't talked wrestling in a while with O'Halloran.
Okay. I don't know if I crossed the line there or something. My bad. Brian, hope you're doing good. I guess Brent couldn't care less about you.
Okay. Well, we'll see if you're right.
Oh, Brent.
You're right.
It's cute. It's cute. No, I'm definitely right. I'm definitely right. How mad. And trust me, I also put it on Twitter, right? I kind of leaked it a little bit. How mad are they now?
Were you a part of this to plan for teal being primary like you were with the Detroit Lions hiring process?
Brent, I'll be honest with you.
Can we claim that
go ahead.
Can we claim that we were subliminally telling them to make it teal with the backs of our chairs?
I mean, Kuz, but do you want to get in the whole aqua teal debate
not
again?
really,
Because Kuz just called this
Did
teal.
Did you just do that?
It's okay. It's a color of blue. We were putting it in their heads to.
Brent, I try so hard, man.
It's unbelievable.
Brent,
I mean,
I try to have.
Kuz, are
listen,
you colorblind? Please admit, right now you're colorblind. Just say it.
No.
Yes.
Brent.
Yes.
Brent.
Say yes. Save
Brent,
the show, Kuz.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, you always make it a habit for me to be who I am and not be professional and speak my piece. But I'm trying real hard right now not to say something I'm going to regret to Kuz. But the fact that he thinks these back of these chairs are teal, Kuz, not even close, man.
We were putting the thought in their head with a similar color.
By the way, the background for Casey Musgraves is why he wore that. That's got a better chance of being teal than the back of the chair.
It's very close, man. Come on, Kuz. Hey, Kuz, you're better than that.
Kuz,
you're better than that.
I thought it was good.
Have you been hanging out with Mayor Santini?
Hey.
I'm about to go out to hang out with the mayor.
Stuart, where you at, dude? What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm so flabbergasted.
Off the rails.
Really off the rails. But at the end of the day, yeah, Kuz, I think teal is going to be primary. Oh, and to answer your question, did I have any kind of influence on this decision? Brent, the only time the Jacksonville Jaguars reach out to me is, what's up, you coming to training camp or not? You coming to cover training camp? Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions, Austin, next head coach, what do you want? Hey, Mark Brunell, what do you think about him?
Nice hire, Mark Brunell.
Yeah,
good job.
You're welcome, Mark. I got you, man.
Hey, UCF fires Gus Malzahn. I think that's a great get.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, Malzahn.
He's beat Saban before. That's impressive.
To go from Scott Frost, who did a great job, to Heupel, who did a good job, but I don't think fans were enamored with him. And that's tough to back up what Frost did, especially those big years, national championship year.
Yeah.
But now to land Gus Malzahn after he got fired at Auburn, you never like to get the fired guy, but this feels different. I think that's a pretty good move.
Absolutely.
Now, hopefully Gus Malzahn keeps that offense cooking, because one thing he couldn't do at Auburn, the offense didn't seem like it cooked. That's
Not
what
wrong.
he is.
Yeah.
So you better be who you are.
Yep. I agree.
But that's an interesting hire. Good for them to get Gus Malzahn.
It's a huge name. I think in terms of recruiting, it helps out. Yeah. Couldn't ask for a better hire.
All right. We've got Florida State, Virginia hoops tonight. Coverage starts at 6:30 on ESPN 690. Live Local Loud coming up. I'll see you on CBS 47 and Fox 30 as well. I can't wait for the final reveal. All I have is blank is primary.
Yes.
That's all I've got.
Show me Teal for 500.
Boy, if it doesn't begin with L, this next tweet.
If it begins with D,
Jags Twitter is going to go bananas.
If it begins with D, I'm going to freak out. Because it's either going to be red or mustard. Don't even mention mustard. I don't know. Red is red is a primary
Ohio
color.
State colors down.
Red is a primary color. I don't know. I see you, Jaguars Twitter. Nice try, though. Nice try.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 3.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Monday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Last night at Daytona, Michael McDowell took the checkered flag at the 63rd running of the Daytona 500 after a massive crash that left several cars in flames and others on the track destroyed. Over the weekend, the Houston Texans released one of the faces of their franchise, J.J. Watt. Watt requested to be released, and now the speculation of where he will end up begins. Here's Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and when you speak to people around the league, Tampa Bay literally overnight has become this incredible destination. You have Tom Brady, a chance to win, Bruce Arians, who's going to take care of veterans like a J.J.